waiting, but let's go live. Hey everybody, it's me, it's RDV, and I'm here with a special guest, Dolan, a writer of Born of Blood. Dude, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, man? Yeah, definitely not the temperature here in Indiana. It's pretty cold here today.
Oh, I'm Wisconsin, really. It's like really much different.
No, it isn't. No, I've got family that lives up in Wisconsin. Actually, live up in Lambeau. Right outside, right near the stadium.
Yeah. All right, so that's about a couple hours north of me. I'm actually in southeastern, so
okay.
So I get the travel to Chicago if I want to, but it takes 2 hours.
Yeah. It's same here. If we want to go to Chicago from Indy, it's typically about 2.5 hours.
Actually, I'll be going to Chicago in a couple weeks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so sister wants to take the kids out to or one of my oldest niece wants to go see a concert. So it's like, but it gets late at night. My sister doesn't feel like driving back, so it's like, here, I'll pay for you. We'll get a hotel and stuff. I'm like, okay, sure. My only concern was that it's on a Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
So when I get comic books, I'm like, so I had to go to my LCS. And I was like, dude, can you here's the list. I printed it out and everything. So I was like, from League of Comic Geeks, which we use, which I found that you were actually on there. It was really cool. I guess everybody uses it, but well, you use it to actually reach out to your friends. I don't know if you have a separate profile.
No, that is me. That is me reaching out to everyone, and it's like, so Born of Blood is with Merc Publishing, and Merc Publishing has only been around for a year, and so we're still new to the game. And I'm a new writer. I've only been doing this professionally for the past year or so, and I'm doing everything I can in my power to reach out to people. Be like, hey, I'm Dolan. This is my series Born of Blood. I hope you guys can give this a chance and check it out. If you have any questions, concerns, complaints, grievances, don't be free to reach out to me.
Yep. Hold on. Hope I don't. There you go. So Born of Blood. Yeah, I just said I discovered it last year. You guys had your Kickstarter early in January, I believe it was.
Yes, this was for issue 3, which already came out, and we did so. Issue 1 was on Kickstarter last year.
Yeah,
and that made that finished at around $98,000, I believe. And after Packer Kit, it finished at around 120,000 or so. So it was very successful. And to this day, Born of Blood 1, and I think right now, Born of Blood 3, as when that ended, are the top 2 from Merc Publishing on Kickstarter.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys got the awesome art. You got was it Carlos Becerra? I think it's.
Yep, Carlos in the interiors. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah. And then Sebastian Gonzalez doing the coloring and stuff, and then even the lettering was awesome on this too. People always leave out the lettering. I was like, no, the letters by Joel Rodriguez.
Yeah, Joel is terrific. Joel is amazing. He's nailed down lettering perfectly. But in issue 1, when I saw the lettering he did in that, like, this is the guy. This is what we want, and couldn't be happier.
Yeah, especially when it comes to the lettering. I've seen people do fantastic art, but then the lettering, it kind of stands out. It's wonky. It's not it doesn't flow with the actual art. So I mean, my friend Skip Tasha, he's always like, dude, check out he's got my favorite letterist that he follows in comic books. He's like, I'll follow them to someone else, because lettering, you think you just put all the words up there. No, you have to figure out, okay, what font I'm going to use, and it's going to be able to read it. Let me see. Well, I guess that's actually his lettering up there right now in the Born of Blood, right? Title? Is that him? Do you know if he did the header?
He might have. I'm not sure if it was him or if that was Jamie Tyndall, because Jamie Tyndall, he's the co-publisher of Merc Publishing, who's also a character designer, and I think Jamie might have developed the title itself. I'm not sure.
All right. Yeah. Well, I might as well show off some of the issues. And for those who are wondering, Born of Blood. Well, also, P's asking what Born of Blood is. I think we already answered that. But if you want to recap, I'll get the issue up. We'll look at some of the art.
Sure. So Born of Blood takes place in ancient Sparta, and yes, during the time of King Leonidas from the film 300, the story of the 300, the Battle of Thermopylae. This is the beginning series for Merc Publishing. It has the other titles, Miss Meow and Death Rage. So this is where it all begins with in ancient Sparta, when we follow Princess Giaris, daughter of King Cleomenes, on her journey to becoming a Spartan warrior, as well as eventually a Spartan queen, and eventually, hopefully, falling in love with Leonidas and surviving the experience of being in Sparta. We'll see what happens.
All right, let's try to get the PDF to go up. Sometimes PDFs don't want to share on these stream cards. All right, and let's present here. There it goes. Obviously, this is for number 1. Dude,
yep,
this is the Kickstarter edition right here. The cover, awesome.
Yep. That was Frank Usen did that one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And let me make some of this art bigger. Let's see. So there is some nudity. I guess not full frontal, but I mean there's topless. There is even a genital shot in one of the issues and stuff.
Yes.
So if you guys aren't really into the gore, especially right here, we'll go right past it.
Look, honestly, if I went into writing this, if this is my one and last and only shot at writing a comic, I am going to get your attention on the first page, and I like to think I did.
Yeah, right. Obviously, this is the first issue dealing with her birth. I said the art on here is the coloring is just I love it. Story wise, it's a great story wise. And it is. I mean, this literally could be taking place right around the 300.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So this is about this time period. It's probably about 30 years before that, I believe. But yeah, so you have King Cleomenes here, and waiting for his child to be born, and he is disappointed. He wanted a son. He was given a daughter.
Which is actually nothing. I mean, I'd say it's tradition back then. Most kings wanted a son. So when they get a daughter, so this was kind of interesting. The fact that he took his daughter, then watching her grow up, and decided to basically when she's 18, basically throws. There's this threw me off. I was like, this is part of the comp.
So this character shows up later in which you've read. She shows up, but this is just like a fun ad we put in there.
I was going through and I was like, oh, this is interesting. An ad for advertisements, So basically he leads her down to the cell, and then where she gets locked in there, 18th birthday, and she meets Moore.
Yep.
Now Moore is I saw one site actually. I was looking through one of the reviews. It said that Moore is her brother.
No.
I didn't get that at all when I read this. This is basically like a friend.
Yes, a friend of King Cleomenes. Yeah.
And he is just brutal with her for like 6 months. I think it is the first
At
6
least,
months.
Yeah. It's supposed to be. Yeah, it's between 6 months to a year. He was doing this with her. Yeah.
Jeez, it's brutal. But it toughens her up, And like you said, she ends up becoming a formidable foe, which I really thought was really cool. Because I love having a female protagonist.
Yes.
But also, I like when they're actually shown learning how to do stuff, not when they're just like, oh, I know how to do this. The typical Mary Sue.
Exactly. This was my cure to the Mary Sue. Honestly, we see a young woman having to earn and fight her way, to earn her respect and place in Sparta, so this is a fictional take on it, and it's not going to go, according to what factually happened. So, and we're having more fun with that as the series goes along. But she gets her butt kicked, but she struggles, but she learns along the way. She gets better.
And I love, like you said, here the example of the font, the lettering stuff here, the scene where she's like, and she just sees her father and just yells at him and is like, "Are you content?" And he just kind of walks away.
Yep.
You can feel the emotion, and I love that.
And a little fun fact behind the scenes. So when we had done this page, this dialogue was here. I remember Jamie Tyndall, like those first that you see the shadow King Cleomenes standing there, and the third he's just walking. He says nothing. Jamie was like, I think he needs to say something. I'm like, no, it's more powerful if he says nothing. He's just standing there. He walks away. You don't need to say anything. That's what it says.
Exactly. I know. Obviously, we don't know what his feelings are. I mean, he showed content, for his when she was born, but I think he's coming to respect her more. At least at this point, I imagine.
Yes. Well, at this point right here, this page, not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. Obviously, yes. But like, she's still got the adolescence in her. He's trying to, basically beat it out of her, let her grow up, and realize that there's more at stake than just being a princess. We're a warrior nation.
So MFK 30. Yeah, this is an indie comic. Yes, and I'm the writer of it.
Yep. Yeah, and if you guys need any links or stuff to the actual comic book, it's actually in the description down below the video stream right now, and you can find it through Merc Publishing. That's where I bought the PDFs there. They're like $4 a piece, I believe. You can also buy the actual comic books. I saw their Kickstarter versions. I saw it was like $10. Mm-hmm. So, which is fairly decent though, because some people actually charge like for the comic books physical prices. You see them like they're charging like $20-$30.
Now, I will say there are some variants of the physical copies that we have that are going for bigger money, and like.
Well, with artists and stuff, covers and stuff. Yes. I forgot what her name is, but she's a really famous artist. She does stuff for Xenoscope too. Sun something.
Kumanaki.
I saw that she did a variant cover too.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome art, but it's like, and I think that was going for like $50. I think.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. There might have been one for $100 too. I don't know. That might have been a metal print. That's the thing. When I looked at, I was looking at Merc Publish. I was like, where's the actual comic book? And then I'm like, okay, here's this. Like, oh, there it is. Because they need. I was just saying for comic books, I would love that if they just said they have all comics, but I would love they say like, here's a tab for Born of Blood. Here's for this for this. Mm-hmm. They'd make it easier for me, at least for me, to navigate. But once you go through it, you can find it scrolling through. Mm-hmm. Maybe something in the future to think about, but yeah, right now it works.
Okay,
but I do love the fact you guys had the PDF format too, because that's the one thing I don't. This is a Kickstarter book, so unless you got it through Kickstarter, sometimes you can't buy PDFs of comic books. Not everybody has the funds to do that, to sell the PDFs. Especially, so if you do the Kickstarter, you goes to whoever who bought it. Once you get bigger, obviously, get more money, then you can go back and reprint the original issues. Second printings.
Yep, and issue 1 after Kickstarter, we got picked up by Lunar Distribution. Yeah, issue 1 went back to a second printing, so that was pretty flippin' awesome to see that.
I imagine, dude. And then a little bit of your up. I saw on one of the other, I think it was a swimsuit Kickstarter, I think, from Merc. Your bio, and I guess your grandfather used to have a distribution center.
So yeah, my uncle, Uncle Kurt, he here in Indianapolis. This is back in the 80s and 90s, before Diamond. He ran a magazine distribution plant in Indianapolis, and he would get like all the comics, magazines, or whatever would come through his plant, and they would distribute them all throughout the city. So every week or so, he would come to our house and bring us a huge box of damaged comics.
That's awesome.
Because they couldn't distribute. He'd be like, here you go, guys, have fun. So we would get these big boxes. This is back in a time we had like the late, the huge guys on the X-Men titles, like Todd McFarlane, Wes Portasio, all those guys working on X-Men. And you had when Image was kicking off, Kingdom Come, Nightfall, Death of Superman, 0 Hour. We're reading all this stuff when we're kids, and for free, and I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Now, how many complete runs did you get from the ones that are destroyed? I guess not destroyed, but damaged.
Oh, no, I don't know if there are any complete runs, but yeah.
Oh, you still have?
Oh no, I still have the Death of Superman. I still have that one because actually, I remember the day before that came out. He came to our house for our Thanksgiving party, and it was like they were in a manila envelope there was copies for my brothers and I. He's like, "Hey guys, you guys didn't get these from me yet, so keep quiet about this." And yeah, that the Superman. I'm like, "Oh my God, Superman died! You can't do that."
Now, were you a little kid at the time?
I was 8.
Yeah, you were telling me beforehand you're 38, so you're only a year older than I am, or a couple months at least.
Yeah,
same. Joe's right around the same age too, so we're all kids, Breen.
Shut up.
But
I will say, like, I honestly I will never forget reading those comics and just being blown away by. Granted, some of the stories may not have made a whole lot of sense, especially in those early Image comics. But I did love looking at the art when I was a kid. It was amazing.
oh, it's
You know, at age 8, you could have been writing for Image.
That's true. Yes.
Hey, what's up, Skip Tosh? Skip Tosh is the guy, our boy, the guy I was telling you about. He's a guy who loves basically the lettering, stuff. He's always about the letter, and which I started noticing that it's like you can tell, because everybody gets credit as far as the penciler, the writer, but the colors and the letterer guys are usually kind of like pushed off to the side,
Yeah, we were really struggling to figure out the color palette for this book, but there's a lot of browns in our book, and we just really wanted to stick with that. And our colorist I think he did a bang up job with this.
Well, and I love the motion lines. That's the one thing I said about a lot of older books. When you read Spider-Man, when he does the flips, or even Nightwing, you see the lines.
Yes.
So I really love it when people bring back the old artistic tropes like that, because nowadays you don't really get what everything's kind of like rushed through, cookie cutter. So it's really refreshing when you see, especially in indie artists or any artist puts in the time to do, whether it's left or right and you follow them going across like this, or just the lines like this in the back. You see her kicking, you see which way it's going. You see the line, you see the effect on the face. So, and you see her kind of doing some Black Widow kind of flips.
Yeah. She's getting better.
Right. So,
but still struggling.
Yeah. So like I said, I really enjoyed this. I love the shading on here, the art, the detail in the background. Overall, the story has just been one of my not number one, but like one of my quickly becoming favorites. So I saw you're only doing like 6 issues, so I'm like, oh man, only 6.
Well,
there better be a volume 2.
We are planning a volume 2, so there's a plan. I can't see what those plans are. I will say,
of course,
Joe and I, we're gonna have Joe, actually Aaron Sparrow, who's our creative director, and Joe and I, we're gonna have a big, nice, long talk next week.
Nice. Yeah, that's the other thing that's missing from a lot of writing today now is the writing room where they actually have everybody coming together and actually plot out things. Especially this is a shared universe we've mentioned.
Yep, it absolutely is. And shared universe with Death Rage and Miss Meow. And it's not until issue 4 when we really see the ties. Like if you've been reading the other titles, there's a certain device that shows up in issue 4 someone wears, and it's like, is that the same helmet? It's like, oh, yep, that's the one.
Yep.
So yeah, this is it. That's where it all ties together.
So are you guys any plans for a crossover event at all? Then I guess I'd say.
I can't say.
You don't have to say no more.
Yeah, we've got a lot of things we're planning, and we want to plan out. So yeah, next week.
Well, that's really good to hear. Good to hear, like I said, because I look forward to when some of the indie companies start doing crossover events or world building. Ablaze is doing that with Erratic and some of the other things.
Yeah.
So I'm always happy to hear that other people have the capability, the funds, able to world build, and just put out good comic books.
Yeah, that's the number one priority. When it's what Aaron, Joe, me, Sean, and Jamie Tyndall, we want to produce top-notch quality comics. Now, granted, yeah, are the covers absolutely beautiful and near perfect? Absolutely. But we want to produce a quality comic on the inside too that rivals, if not exceeds, what you're getting from Marvel or DC. And I like to think my title does that with most of those.
Well, yeah, and it's not just all cheesecake on the cheesecake on the cover, sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Like I think issue 4 has, I think issue 3 or issue 4 has a variant where it looks like she's wearing the Deja Thors.
I think that's issue 3. Yeah, I think that's 3.
So, and then obviously, everybody who's seen the thumbnail, and Brink complaining, why is this guy in front of all the girls? Basically looks away.
Does. Hey, yeah, be careful in this conversation next week. I bet Aaron's really bossy. Don't let him run over you.
Yeah, Aaron's the worst. Yeah, we met in New York. He's met Texas last year. Yeah, just slave driver.
Kidding.
I would say not. Well, if this is the quality we're getting for more to it.
No, but just I honestly, I've never had more fun than just hanging around Joe and Aaron. Just hanging around Joe and Aaron, just talking for hours and just talking about comics, just life, whatever. It's a blast.
That's it. Yeah, Joe and I talk on the phone occasionally, and we can knock off 2 hours. It feels like an eye blink.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I like this is the sand to the face. For me personally, I always go to Dale Gribble, pocket sand. So I said like this. It's really when I read this, going through the story, I said I really feel like I'm reading an extension of the 300. Frank Miller's. Kind of going through that timeline period. I love Gladiators. I love just the whole warrior stuff. The Roman Empire. Roman Empire. I don't love the Empire. But I love the technological advances they had. And they were horrible people.
Timmy, do you like gladiator movies?
I knew you were going to bring it up.
Oh man!
So go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, this genre in particular, I've got a lot of feedback on it. Like there are a lot of people who do like this genre, and there are a lot of people who don't like this genre. They're like, hey, this sounds cool, but I just don't like sword and sandal stories. It's like, okay, that's fair. It's not your thing. I appreciate your honesty.
You know what's crazy? I was going through. He has. I forget the first Kickstarter. It's still up there, even though it's closed. You can watch the video. You can even go to your YouTube. Drew Comics with Elite. I think it was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think you have the actual video up there of the trailer for this.
Yeah.
And immediately when I watched it, I'm like, it's Nerdette. I was like, is it her? Because she's not normal high pitched,
she was a big fan of our channel and what I was doing, what I was saying and doing, but we disagree on things too, But hey, what people don't, and but she liked the premise of what I was doing. She liked the premise of the story, and I had asked her, "Hey, you want to do the trailer?" And she said, "Oh my god, absolutely!" And she nailed it. She killed it, and that's what we wanted, and it left an impact.
Yeah, it's yeah. Of course, I kind of piggyback what you said about Nerdette. There's everybody likes different things. We all have different belief stuff. So, but I always consider Nerdette a friend. Mm-hmm. So and then plus I know I've watched some of her videos. She did a review of I guess issue 2. She had an issue with. I can understand there was a part towards the end.
Yeah, that's absolutely. And I completely. I can. That's her point of view. That's her. But
it serves a purpose.
Yeah, it bullseye. That is exactly my point. That it serves a purpose to the story, and not just there for the sake of being there.
True. There are books who basically just do it for the sake of being there, and just because they want to get the readers, But it actually served the purpose. I don't know how to word it. If you want to touch on what it is.
Well, in issue 2, so in issue 2, in issue 1, this issue, she learns how to be a warrior. But in issue 2, she learns how to be a smart, capable, strong woman. Take that for what it is. She learns to be a woman, a Spartan woman, and she learns how to use the art of seduction and sex as a weapon. And we see that pay off at the end of the comic.
And of course, the person teaching her is someone, you know, who later we find out. Well, I don't really want to spoil the story.
We can just say she has ties with her father. We'll just say that she has ties. With her
father. Before I even read issue 5, I noticed that I was like, oh, I wonder if that's okay, because you get fruit. If you read through issue, guys, you haven't read through issue 4. Issue 4, there is at the end, it gives it a little, like, you know, a name drop. And then going in issue 5, you're gonna find something else, you know, or like, oh, who this person is. Stuff. Like I said, every issue is just moving forward. Everything that you read in each issue, I've noticed that it's there for a reason. It's not there, you know, just for like the flash, you know, clickbait and stuff. It actually is like legitimately part of building the story going forward.
Yeah, and each issue has its own different tone, different type of story. Issue 1 is the origin story. Issue 2 is kind of more or less the artist, the sex story. That's learning to be being powerful and a powerful woman. Issue 3, I consider call that the betrayal. Issue 4, I consider that survival. Issue 4 is survival. Issue 5 is hide and seek, and issue 6 is the horror story. So,
horror story sounds fun.
And
Vegman, you've forgotten to ask the most important question.
Well, I'll let you ask it since I forgot.
Drew, what was it like streaming with Zach for the first time? Seriously, what was it like the first time you went into a comic shop and saw your book on the stand?
It was surreal. It was because this happened back in I forget what month it was. I got the photos. I took photos of it, put it up. It was. I still can't, because I can still picture it to this day. It was the most surreal feeling. That it was the one moment I'd always wanted in my life since I was a kid. Ever since I was reading comics in kindergarten, first grade, I'd always wanted to write comic books, and to actually see a comic I wrote on the stands, I couldn't believe it.
I gotta believe it. I mean, yes, the Kickstarter. I mean, you see it come to fruition. You see the success of it.
Yeah.
But I gotta think there's nothing that can quite take the place of seeing it on the stand at a comic shop.
There isn't, you know, and honestly, the only time that trumped that was when I was at New York Comic Con, and the day I was flying out, we had some time, so I went to the Midtown Comics downtown, Midtown, and Born of Blood was there on the shelves, and they had like 2 copies left, or 2 or 3, and I signed some copies for them, and they said, "Yeah, this comic is selling well for us." I'm like, awesome, love to hear that.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Nothing like it. Yeah. You said Kickstarter, everything, that's all great, fantastic, but nothing like seeing it on a stand. Nothing like seeing it on a rack.
So tell me about Kickstarter. I know you guys started off there, and then it goes to the store. And are you guys you just did number 3 was in January. It just ended actually early this morning, I think. You had a little collector's box there. So you're going to be doing a Kickstarter first for every issue.
No, well, they're going to be in Lunar first, and then the Kickstarters afterwards.
Okay.
So issue 4 just came out, so there will be an issue 4 Kickstarter, probably not too later this year, and then issue 5 will be out in stores, and then issue 5 will be on Kickstarter. Yes, there it is. Yep.
So
very cool.
So you kind of get an idea of what's going to be in issue 4 by the cover, you know, a little bit. And Leonidas is a character. That's how that's right. Leonidas, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
that you want to talk about? That was the most difficult thing I was going to have to write because I mean, going into this, I mean, I trust me, I am well aware and well versed in 300, and I am writing Leonidas, And my only hope is to so I go into writing this book in issue 3. I introduce him in issue 3. He pops up at the end of issue 2, but issue 3 he's in it prominently. So bear in mind, this is GRS's comic. This is her title.
Yes.
But at the same time, I have to respect the character Leonidas and the fact that this is Leonidas. All right, I can't just have her belittle him. It's not. I can't incorporate whatever modern day politics people would think I'd put into this. I can't. It's not going to happen. Not in this book.
Yeah.
If she does something stupid, if she does something out of line, he's going to call her out on it. Like, hey, you can't be fighting on your own. We are Sparta. We fight as one. He's going to call her out on it. And so I think some people may be shocked to see that until they realize, oh yeah, this is ancient Sparta. But yeah, trust me, Leonidas is written like the badass that he is, especially at the end of issue 3 and through most of issue 4. But yeah.
Yeah, and it's awesome to see that, like I said, they have the mutual, they have a mutual respect for each other, after they have their little talk, and then they gain, and seeing that, that she's not just like, I'm the better, more superior, they each have their strength and their flaws. So far, I haven't heard of what Leonidas is. But
yeah, because he's Leonidas. Come on, he's like the alpha, the most alpha of alpha males.
His flaw was only taking 300 soldiers to that final battle. That was his flaw.
So here's issue 3, the other cover I got. So.
Yes, John Royal, he killed it. Love it.
Yeah, these are some. I was able to read through issue 1 and 2 today, and I was just looking at the covers and the art style and everything. It's really a beautiful book. I love it. I especially liked issue 1. I was reading through, and I didn't see any in issue 2. I don't know if you did any more, but I liked there were a couple of these full page. They looked like ads.
Yes.
But they were like Sparta themed, so it was like there was like a beautification mud, and then like a Spartan workout ab. And I was like, I thought that was the coolest thing.
Some of us, we like those too, but other people high up were like, no, let's stop doing those. We're like,
okay,
okay, but yeah, trust me, I had plenty of ideas about for ads.
So here's my idea on that: just release the art gallery of the ads.
That's not a bad idea either. So yeah, we can honestly do that. Yeah,
or put them on T-shirts.
Yeah. But yeah, you were saying earlier, you found that some people like sword and sandal books and some people don't. And I'm one of those guys. When RTV first mentioned this book, I was I was interested because I like sword and sandals, but I'm kind of picky with my sword and sandal stories because some of them are good and then some of them are like, eh. But this one, I read the first couple of videos this morning and I was really enjoying it. I'm gonna have to go back and finish the other 2 or 3. But really good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, when you finish them, let me know. I can send you the PDF to issue 5, so you get a little sneak peek on that. But
awesome.
Yeah, because I knew going into this when I was writing this was going to be an action-centered, fast-paced comic. I'm not going to bog you down with dialogue. There will be dialogue, not much, but it's going to be everything is going to flow. Everything is going to be kinetic, And I like to think I got people on the page turns. People are going to want to see what's going to happen on the next page. I really feel. I talked to Aaron about that, and we really feel Aaron Sparrow, and we really feel like that's a lost art anymore. The art of the page turn, and
when your art can actually tell the story, you don't need that much words.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not gonna hamper down an artist with my words if he's able to get it across in pictures. I'm like, you know what? I can probably put in a couple words here, if that.
I thank you for not being a fan of Brian Michael Bendis.
No,
and just giving us his blogs.
Trust me, it's like the opening page of that Kickstarter issue of issue 1. That should be like, all right, if you're expecting Bendis, you're not going to get that. Yeah.
If I'm expecting Bendis, I'm not buying it.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I was reading Dahlia in the Dark, and there's words and everything on the pages.
Who the hell would do that? Jeez.
But I really liked, like you were saying, it's action, it's fast paced. I like stories that are they get to the action. They don't, dwell on the origin story for 2 or 3 issues. Okay, here's the origin, but here's also it's all action. It's more show don't tell kind of, which I really like.
You hit the nail on the head. Show don't tell. This is a comic book medium. It's a visual medium. I need to show you. I'm not going to tell you. That is my job as a storyteller to be able to get it across visually and not through words.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I fell in love with reading Walking Dead. It was just like, it got straight to the point. You know, the art was basically the storytelling. You got the few words here. Occasionally, get like Rick would have like paragraph.
Yeah.
You know, but like I said, I like when it's more art orientated, you know, versus the writing, you know, and that, you know, but when you balance it out, obviously you got to have some dialogue in there. So I mean,
yes,
it's crucial to what the few words you put in there.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah,
there won't be any more than what's necessary.
And so another reason I've been liking this too, because I've been watching the old the 80s movies, as far as Dragon Slayer, you know, Barbarian Queen.
Yes.
It's
We're the twin barbarians.
Yeah, yes, Lana Clarkson. Because on the other channel, like Extreme Movie Show, I do with my friend Rob. We've been just going over like, you know, just like the sword and sorcery stuff. You know, we reviewed Conan the Barbarian. That's like my 10th time watching that. Like I love it when you can actually like, it's just, I love sword and sorcery. And so when you can act, when it's done well, and it's not just, you know, like today would be like, you know, they put a political message in there or something. Where I like it when like, books like yours, you know, just focus on the story. It has nothing to do with, there's no modernization at all. It's just the way it is back then.
That's how I wanted to keep it. It's a period piece, you know, and that's the way I wanted to write it. And I don't want anyone to think, like, because there's a certain book, I think it's called Barbaric with Vault, where it's like when you read it, there's a barbarian in it, and there's barbaric elements in it. But when you read it, it's like, this sounds like someone just walked off the street of New York City with this dialogue, you know, in this comic. No, happened in this book.
Eric,
it's killing me.
I know. I can't.
New York City. Sorry. Now, I do want to point out to the people watching. Drew said this is a period piece, not to be confused with the kind of period piece that Man-Eaters by Chelsea Kane was.
Yeah. Or Mother of Madness when that was in.
And, hello, Joe. And Ronnie has a question.
Well, here's Joe. Hello to Joe. Dude, working. Joe also works on Born of Blood too, though. So, and that's another reason I was hoping Joe would get on your too, because like just like I want to hear stories behind the scenes, you guys working together.
You know? Oh, it's just because there are look, I'm a new writer, and there are times where I doubt myself on something. Where if I write it out, I think it looks great. Then when I see it on the comic, for example, if something happens in issue 6. I wrote it down. I thought it looked cool, and then I see it. I'm like, I told Joe, I'm like, Joe, I don't know if this is going to work. What do you think? He's like, no, we're incorporating this and this and that. It's going to work. Trust me. I'm like, all right, cool. I trusted him and Aaron. I got 2 of the best at Merc Publishing, and I trust these guys with what they're telling me.
I have something somewhat similar to that. It's when we create the thumbnails for the stream. So it's like, so I had to look. I'm like, okay, I gotta look first. I gotta look for you. Like, is there any photos of you? Because I like doing that, putting the name, the face of the actual person.
Yeah.
So I'm always hoping like, well, hope it's a photo that he likes. You know.
That's a good photo. That was a good photo. Murphy, who's the editor-in-chief at Merc, she's like, she asked me to take that photo. So yeah, that's a good one.
And that's where we got it from. We got it from the actual swimsuit Kickstarter thing. I could just, you know, crop it out, throw it on there. And my friend also who basically writes, not writes, but basically does a lot of the streams with me, Professor Pixel. He does a lot of the thumbnails. So whenever I do thumbnails, I'm always like asking, like, do you think this looks good? Or I even asked Breen. It's like I always second guess myself because like I have like I'm in the zone as what my tastes are. I have no idea what else likes.
Exactly.
So,
and I would like to think that, and I'm fairly certain Joe would say like, no, this doesn't work, because they've done that at this point. Like there's certain things where like, hey, you need to add this. You should think about adding this. Think about taking this out, adding this in. And it's been great having them on board. And I couldn't be happier.
I do that to Pix all the time. It's like, hey, I just edited your title on the stream, so let's maybe let's get better views. So Mariah's question: how does Dolan work with the artists? Does he submit a full script with things broken down in detail, or is it more a suggestion to let the artists do what they feel serves the story?
Oh, so story time. Here we go. So in issue one, when I just started working on issue 1, I was going to incorporate a Marvel method where I was going to describe this is what happens on the page. This is what I want to happen. I'll let the artist fill it in. So, real quick, our art team is in South America. So I have to use a lot of visual references, and I have to be very, very specific on the wording and the imagery and where I want things to be or how to be described. So when I submitted that idea, they shot back saying, like, it sounds like you're putting a lot of work on our shoulders. And I was like, okay, I guess I have no problem with that. So everything I am putting in there is detailed, broken down by myself, like panel by panel, where things are at the wording, how certain acts, like it is all in, I'll see if I can pull up a script real quick. But yeah, trust me, it is all very specific, and it's broken down in detail with visual references to the artists. And there have been a couple times where it didn't really work, where they got the exact opposite of what I meant. So it had to be even more specific visually. But yeah, so let's see if I can share. Oh, I can't share issue 6 yet. You can't see that.
Sure you can, behind the scenes.
Okay, here's the second draft of Born of Blood 5, for example. Here we go. Here's page 1. I don't know if you can want to share my.
Yeah. I just waiting for you to pop it up here so I can pop
Okay.
it.
Okay.
So while he's doing that, Bangman, there's a Hendrix song called "Hey Joe," and the next line is "Where are you going with that gun in your hand?"
Oh, okay, that's.
All right. Can you see that?
I cannot.
Oh. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Come on. There we go.
We're professionals here, guys.
There we go. Can you see that?
Here we go. Yep.
So yeah, this is like an example. Like, right here on the left, it's like, Born Blood issue 5, second draft, just a list of characters. But over here, page 1, this is in detail. Like Leonidas has his back against the wall. Leonidas has a calm and cool look on his face. His shadow is showing along the stone wall to his side. Giaris is crouched down by his groin, ready to pounce and attack. There are tattered rags along the ground and bundled up against the wall. The stone wall has staggered stones sticking out above them. Stones just big enough for a foot to fit on to climb, which is what Leonidas will do. Both Leonidas and Giaris are scarred, dirty, and tired. Leonidas is wearing the helmet. And just got 4 Spartan soldiers. The sun is setting. So this is, like right here, it's page 1, splash page. This is all a splash page. And caption box 1, Sparta, Nightfall, caption box. And reference photo. This is my reference photo. Just from
Punisher.
Yep, the Punisher. And you read issue 5, so I like to think that looks kind of similar.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It's always cool seeing the behind the scenes, how you guys do this stuff.
Yeah, so they got the dialogue, you got sound effects, captions. So yeah, it's all very specific. So yeah.
And then they send you they have a storyboard that they do, and they show that to you at all, and then kind of
they'll do breakdowns, and they'll send the breakdowns like a storyboard, just like a storyboard. But they look amazing. I need to get. So we have a new artist you saw in issue 5 and 6.
Yeah,
and he is amazing. I need to ask him if I can have his storyboard breakdowns if I want him. But he nails it, and he's amazing. And they just go from there. And if we had any concerns, we'll just let them know, like, hey, fix this hand, fix that. But yeah, they're amazing.
So,
any language barriers at all?
Yeah, so that's what the more or less the photo references are for too, so they may not understand. Yeah, because actually it's funny you mentioned that, Brain. Yeah, because I think in issue 5, toward the end of issue 5, there was a misunderstanding of how we wanted the placement of how we wanted an eye to look on a page. Like the artist, he just wasn't getting it. Like we were trying to say about the eye, he shot us 4 different drafts, one panel. I'm like Joe, he's not getting it. Is this the same eye? and it's just so funny sometimes. They just it happens. Unfortunately, it's one of those rare times where it happened, but we got it fixed, and it does happen.
So MK was asking if this book's going to be bloody and gory like Mortal Kombat. Well, there is some parts you see eye gouging. At least
eye gouging, dismemberments, neck snaps, all that stuff. Yeah.
I mean, the very first issue, the guy gets blades to the dick.
Yeah.
It's
opening page. Yeah.
And she's got those I forget what they're called.
Grombits.
Just goes right behind him, stabs him in, and then slices his neck.
Yeah. Like, that was our fun fact. That page, that was the test page we sent out to artists. Like, how would they do this page? And the first guy, he was the very first guy, Carlos Picaria. When he sent his page back, I'm like, yes, this is the guy. And so yeah, he killed it.
Yeah, where she killed it.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that she uses her because she's small but she's still deadly though. I love that she's able to not she doesn't over I guess in the sense where she's most of the time Mary Sue is like just does all the fancy moves. She's actually she uses her she uses the sand. Mm-hmm. She's stabbing people in the foot, pushing them down.
Yes.
There's a fight with I think it's Silas or Silas.
Oh, Cialis. Yeah.
Cialis. Whatever.
In issue 4, yeah, I love that. So all these fights, I am choreographing all these fights myself. So in every page, in every panel, and that was a fun one to do.
For those who haven't picked it up, I won't say how she, what happens. About this saying, you'll get the point. No, so I said I love the artwork in this. I mean, I love in the storytelling so far. I love in the fact you have the hero, the heroine, I should say. You have Garrus. You also have Leonidas. Mm-hmm. Them working together as and then you have the Klepets. I think
I call them the Kleptis.
Kleptis, okay.
Yeah.
And how they get involved. You also have the R guys in the another rival.
Yep.
Invading army. It's just like I love it. There's consequences. Someone does something, there's a consequence, and it comes back to bite them.
And that's exactly what issue 2 was. Granted, hey, they got help, but in issue 2, hey, there's a consequence. What happens in issue 2 as well? In issue 3, it's just rolls downhill. I love it. And one of my things I loved, one of my favorite titles I loved reading was Garth Ennis's Punisher Max. And if you read that, it's like that's another series where it's like there's consequences for what happened in like a previous series, a previous mini. What happened. It's like I love stuff like that.
Welcome back, Frank. With Manucci, yeah. And she just keeps coming back. She loses her limbs. So it's like, because I'm looking like, is there really any Punisher influence?
Yes, Garth Ennis's Punisher run was an influence on this. Yes,
I just got done reading through The Boys with a friend reviewing it on a channel, and that's another one where they show you the gore and all that stuff in there and stuff, but there's still a message underneath. Mm-hmm. A lot of people would say like, well, because issue 2 shows some sex, basically, the nudity stuff, and that's the thing. It's like most people would look at like, wow, why is this even in there? It's like there's no need for this. You can just skip all this. It's like, well, it plays a part.
Yes.
So and like I said, I love it when something happens in issue 1, they may come back to bite them in issue 4.
Yeah.
Character, or issue 5.
Yeah. Or something that happened before issue 1 may come back to bite them in issue 6.
Or even the stuff like before, like like stuff that happened before issue 1. So I love that. So like I said, I look forward to reading more of this, man. It's been a fun ride, and I hope you guys keep doing just like more and more,
Yeah, and the fun thing is now, I told Aaron this because I was watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood not too long ago, and it's not many people agree with me on this, but it's one of my favorite Quentin Tarantino films. I love that movie.
I've heard
And
really good things about it.
it is.
Yeah.
It's granted. It's very light on story, but it's very heavy on theme. It's a very theme heavy movie. But one thing I do love, what he has fun with history. He has fun with the story he's telling. And I had to really step back and realize in this Merc publishing universe, we're living in a world now in this publishing universe where there's a Spartan army empire in modern day in the Merc universe. If you read Miss Me Out, they are there. They're still there. So history has fundamentally changed because of that. So that is already telling me, okay, with this happening, I can have fun with history now. I can change things around, a la kind of like Watchmen or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So things, people, events may run into each other, and things that happen may not have happened this time, but we're going to have some fun.
Another question I have is I noticed a lot of companies are doing the 6 issue. Like if a perfect example would be Zenoscope does the 6 issue, and then they may have a quarterly.
Mm-hmm.
Any plans for your for the Merc books at all? Do you know if you obviously you're doing 6 issues? Is there going to be any quarterly books or anything like that? Or
I do know, like Sean said, they're going to do some seasonal specials. Like there's going to be like a summer swimsuit special. There'll be a Halloween special, spring special on Kickstarter. But Born of Blood, I think they're going to continue as long as Born of Blood stays successful as it has been, like it hasn't been on Kickstarter. Yeah, there's going to keep being a series, and I'm going to keep reading them.
The first one was funded in like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Here's the funny thing about this. So, issue 1, it took us quite a bit to. It was up there for a month, but it took us a bit to get to where we ended at. Now, issue 3 on Kickstarter, we got to 50K in 24 hours. We didn't get to 50K on issue 1 originally until like after I think a week or so. So we were way ahead of the game. I mean, I really think our covers and word of mouth of the series has really caught on to people.
I mean, man, I think one of the reasons people really like it too, because this is what we kind of want from Red Sonja. Red Sonja has been kind of gone downhill with Dynamites. For me, it's my opinion. Some of the books, they forgot that it's being who the readers are.
So, little fun segue. Speaking of Red Sonja,
yeah, I was hoping for that.
So, Marat Michaels is a good friend with Sean Hudachko, who owns Comics Elite, and when issue 1 of Born of Blood was still getting ready to go to art, Marat came to our store to do a live sale, and Sean was telling Marat, like, hey, Born of Blood's looking good. Drew's turned into a good script. Then they just started talking about they want to do a crossover. Marat's like, hey, man, we need to do a crossover book. And Sean's like, okay, who are we going to get to write it? So they both, at the exact same time, turned to look at me, and they said, you want to write it? It's like, okay, sure. So that's when I wrote Catfight versus Naughty and Nice. And that was my first foray, really into doing a crossover. And that was a fun, wild ride issue. And I think anyone would love reading that. It's just 3 women beating the living crap out of each other in half the comic book. And I went back to reread it, and that was a blast. But yeah, so that led to me getting more projects with Marat Michaels. Marat had a lot of fun with me. So I got to co-write with him on Battle Fairy and Yeti meet Red Sonja, and now this bad boy, Naughty and Nice meet Red Sonja and Vampirella. This I could not be prouder or happier to have my name on Vampirella and Red Sonja in the same comic.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the covers here, so we're gonna get the same kind of great art on here too. Now here's the question: will there be any dismemberment? Like there is in Born of Blood.
There may, I think, actually, I do. There are some very graphic fight scenes, especially in the Vampirella section. I think Marat actually kind of spoiled one of the pages. He showed it up. He has it up here. I was like, no, don't show that. That's kind of the cool shot. But yeah, there's the Red Sonja section. These women are going to throw down with each other. They're going to be fighting for several pages. Trust me, it's going to be a blast.
Hey, there's a head right there flying. So
Yeah, that looks awesome.
Yeah, Matt Weldon, he did the art on that. I told Marat, I'm like, dude, I called dibs on his OA. I don't care how much, it's mine.
Weldon, I've actually seen him draw. I've watched him draw before, and it's insane the talent he has. Like the detail, like you can even see there with the black, like just the way he draws hair.
Yeah,
is incredible. Yeah, he's a really good artist. I saw that y'all got him for this. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure I'm on the mailing list for this.
Yeah,
because he's awesome.
And Sajad Shah, he did this section with Vampirella, and I can't. This is gonna look better when it's colored, I think. But this is another one, full on fight with these two. It's gonna be fun.
So I noticed that she has the ears, but she doesn't have like the signature like talons that she usually does when she goes like this. If you read the Harris back in the day, that was a big thing for Vampirella. Whenever she'd go in the bat mode like this, she'd get the long, your nails would extend out.
I was reading like some new stuff too, and like, she didn't really have those in the new one Dynamite.
It's changed. Yeah, I've because Ivan when I talk, well, everybody who watched this knows I love the Harris stuff. I know I've been collecting the Vampirella Warren magazines, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, I Vengeance of Vampirella has been one of my favorite ongoing series. So Tom Zdarsky's still writing for over at Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I noticed is like when now it's a Dynamite. There's certain things from characters that are missing now or changed now.
Yeah. But one aspect there's one thing you are right about. Like a lot of these characters really aren't. These really aren't action-centered comics anymore, especially Red Sonja and Vampirella. Like Marat knew after reading Catfight vs. Naughty and Nice that I was going to bring to action, and both of these sections in these books, they are action-packed.
Yeah, we just got done. Zach and I have been reading the Immortal Red Sonja, and you see the way it's being drawn on the inside. It's become more cartoon and jokey. Yes. Yeah. And I nothing against Dan Abnett. I love Dan Abnett's writing. Mm-hmm. I just couldn't figure out why are they getting such these cartoonish artists.
I want to say they probably had. I will say that they may have had a small budget, and that's what they could afford. That's what I'm going to guess.
True. Because I remember, even back then, you look at the 2005, I think it was series. When Dynamite first took over the character for Red Sonja, and she had we went for 80 issues. Mm-hmm. The art on there wasn't as cartoonish as it is now. It just kind of looked like gargoyles, in a sense, Which that artist, the guy who works, I forgot his name is, who works on Gargoyles, used to work. He did some work on John Carter, Warlord of Mars, and it didn't fit on there. But when he started working on Gargoyles, it fits. So certain, and that's the thing. I don't certain art styles should only use with certain books. That's but I don't know. Like I said, I like it when our artists and writers are able to. Their hands are not basically locked up. They can write what they want to write. They're not afraid of being canceled.
And that's what Marat knew. Like I was not going to be afraid writing this, and these women are beating the crap out of each other. And they're in a fitness room, a rooftop fitness room. They land in a pool. They make their way into a gym, and they're beating the crap out of each other's free weights. They find in the gym.
I don't think if you get a chance to read was it Frank Cho's Fight Girls?
Yes, I love that series.
Yeah. So the way he does the art in there and the storytelling, it's it's. Mm-hmm. That's what I missed from modern comic books, mm-hmm. And I was reading some of his Jungle Girl stuff back in the day. Mm-hmm. It's I just feel like Dynamite's kind of going away from the male readers and just going towards catering to people who don't read comic books.
Yeah. This is I really like to think if you love seeing beautiful women but love seeing beautiful women fight like Frank Cho, you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah. And obviously because women are scrappers, and some women it's like, and then when you like censor them, it's like, oh well, we can't have them do this, yeah, it's where, or they only fight against guys and they beat the guy, and the guys look like imbeciles.
Yeah,
and there's no explanation,
Yeah,
I remember Red Sonja used to have a healing factor. I think it was in the Roy Thomas one. She had a healing, or a slow healing factor, so she got cut, it would heal. And she was given like her how to strategize through the goddess, So, and then like I said, as it's gone on from Marvel, from Roy Thomas going on to Dynamite, and just slowly everybody comes in and just deconstructs the character and rebuilds it back up.
Yes.
So my question would be like, because you're writing this, are you keeping the personalities that they are currently, like kind of like a Dynamite, or are you going back? Are you which comic books are you basing how you write them off of? I
would like to. So, like you said, it's very difficult because when I was writing Battle for Yeti versus Red Sonja, I was taking in everything that Roy Thomas had written early on, because I was kind of avoiding the Dynamite years. I was reading early, so I would like to think, when you're reading this, if you're reading Red Sonja, her voice, it's going to be the pre-Dynamite years.
Okay. We'll get Eric to buy a new book.
Yeah. No, will this eventually make it to stores?
That's a good question. I need to talk to Murat about that. I think it will. I think this. I think it might. I hope it does, because I'd love to see this in stores. I do know Murat put in a deal in here for retailers. They can buy like retailer bundles if they want.
I think that's digital pledge.
Well, this sounds really good. I mean, you were touching on this before. The problem with a lot of characters like Vampirella and Red Sonja is they've passed through so many hands and they've had so many crossovers that basically you're not writing the character. You're writing, a lot of people write what they want the character to be to fit the story instead of keeping the character.
Yeah, so like with Vampirella, for instance, the section with Vampirella, like I wanted to show. Oh, this is difficult. How should I say this? Okay, I'll just kind of spoil it. Like I want to show like she wasn't able to save someone in time. She was sad about that. She's crushed by that. But immediately after, she is pissed off. She sees who caused her to not be able to save this person, and takes it out on her, and goes after her. Says, "Just you did this," and just goes right after her.
Now, have you read any of the original Vampirella magazines?
I did try to go back through those, and like they really it was more. She was kind of like a crypt keeper type person.
Well, that's the very early issues, but she eventually, by about issue 7 or 8, they started using her in stories, and how she's presented today is completely different from how she was back then. I mean, it was more of a serial.
Yeah.
And the adventures were on a much smaller scale, because obviously the characters that they eventually team her up with now didn't exist yet. Because she's been around since 1968. But I said, I mean, this sounds good. I mean, I'm actually looking forward to this. Whether I have to, I very rarely back things. I may make an exception for this. I don't know if I can wait for it to get to stores.
Yeah, I had so much fun writing this. The first section I had fun with, like a lot of the dialogue. It's going to be, I think it's Nice. Nice is with spends her time with Red Sonja. Nice is just referring to her like as Raggedy Ann, Lucy, just all these redhead names. I just had fun doing that, and it just, I can't explain to you just how much fun I had writing this. This was just, it was a dream getting to write these two characters, and I can only hope I get to write more with them. Got to show them just kicking ass, just being strong, capable women, but with a heart at the same time.
So you guys are gonna have training. So I'm looking at some of these add-ons here, like unlockable things. You got the training cards. You got the logo sticker.
Yeah, it needs to be updated. Ryan hasn't updated it yet. We unlocked several of those now.
coaster, and then there's then these two. So yeah, I mean it looks cool. You got here's the little foil sets.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy how foil sets, and just foil covers now are just coming back in style. I'm waiting for the other ones, but the ones they have their is it particular? The ones where they change, on the
Yeah, I know Marvel did that with the back in like
Spice.
2018, 2019. They did that with they had like the original homage cover, and then they transitioned to like the new character on that cover. Yeah.
I think it's a lot of the main Spider-Mans had those covers, the cover, and the little transition things. I people a bit are like, oh, that's a dumb gimmick back then. It's like I look at it when I was picking up comic books and all, and I started getting comic books in 2003. That's when I started reading. So I was going to stores. I'm like, well, what is this? Like, oh, it looks kind of cool. It's like the one I never cared for was the embossed, because there was one, I forget which issue it is, and Brain probably knows this. It's where it shows the gravestone. I think it's Amazing Spider-Man, but
oh yes, that one. I know.
And you can never tell what it is because the color choice.
Talking about 400.
It might be 400. It's the one he's been trying to sell it. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's 400.
Yeah,
he shouldn't have trouble. It for some reason it keeps climbing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like I said. So I love the I think it's venticular colors. I love those.
Venticular.
Yeah. So I know it's kind of was a gimmick back then, but it's like I'm just have a thing for those. They're cool to me, So the other thing is like the covers. I look at some of these covers, and especially you notice today, you've probably heard us talk about this. You've already seen yourself. Is that the covers today don't really show you what's going on in the book.
Yeah, that's what's disappointing for me sometimes. Like I know with Born of Blood in particular, there's a couple covers here and there they'll show what happens on the inside, but more often than not, it's it's sexy women. Hey, sexy women covers sell. I got to admit that they really truly do. But yeah, with issue 6 of Born of Blood, I tried to really I locked down an Italian artist. He's got a horror series. And he did a cover for us. It hasn't been revealed. It hasn't been released yet. Hasn't been revealed yet. But I'm hoping at some point it will, because I really wanted to touch in a horror artist to do the horror story aspect of what happens in the comic for Born of Blood. But yeah, and this, you get them. I think there's one cover where they're fight. They have fists raised at each other. Maybe, I'm not sure, but hey, they're sexy women on the cover, and sexy women on the cover sell.
It does. Go on a Xenoscope's website. Look at their prints. They had all the variants and all. Of course, because they're kind of like the fairy tale characters. So they always have them cosplaying. They have them dressed up as Ghostbusters stuff. People buy this stuff, and people subscribe to the websites, and then they get the metal prints. They buy it. It works.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with certain artists like Elias Chatzudis or Ebas right here. Ebas, for example, every time.
Friends of Ed Benes. Some of those guys back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Loved Ed Benes.
Here's the metal card set. Sorry. Then here's your crossover fighting one. Yep.
Oh, that's the actually that's the Battle Fairy and Yeti versus Red Sonja.
Oh, okay. That's the previous one.
Yep.
I have the center one. Mm-hmm. So. Huh. So I don't really see. Yeah, you got Ryan Kincaid on there. That's cool.
Yeah, Ryan's a great dude. I've known him now for like 5 or 6 years.
So what's that like? I mean, you're now meeting more and more writers now, right? Through other people. You probably met a couple through Aaron or maybe through Joe. Like have you and you've been to Comic Cons? Have you met any of your favorite writers or artists?
Yeah. Oh, I have. Yeah, absolutely. And there are a lot of art. Like one. So at New York Comic Con, the Comic Mint comic book store, they did their own exclusive for Born of Blood at New York Comic Con. Thiago de Silva did the variant for it at the convention, and I was there at their booth signing copies in gold next to Thiago de Silva of their variant. And one moment I'll never forget was on Sunday. I was walking back from one of the few times I could make it to the bathroom. I was walking right past their booth, and Thiago was waving me over. He's like, "Hey, Dolan, come over. I want to introduce you to some people." I'm like, okay. And it was the Miranda brothers from who wrote and drew the series We Live from Aftershock.
Cool.
And I'm not sure which brother it was, but he was like, "You wrote this? You wrote this?" And I'm like, he had it up in his hands. I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I love this. This is so great, so great." And he's like, "I want to do a cover for this." I'm like, oh, wow, this is not what I expected from the Miranda brothers or on a Sunday. Holy crap. That was one of the most surreal moments. And then I have artists, reaching out to me all the time, like, "Hey, if you need cover work, hit me up. If you need cover work, hit me up. If you need cover work, hit me up." Like, oh my God, this is insane.
How many of them are actually like, big name artists? Are these all independent ones?
A lot of these are independent artists, and I really think that's where a lot of the gold is, and
True. Boom Studios, man. They discovered. I guess Dan Mora was discovered by. He worked first at Boom Studios before going over to DC. So it's crazy, and a lot of them are from Brazil, South America artists, and and once they get to DC, it's like you don't see them again in indies. So,
No.
like I said, Dan Mora is probably, I discovered him by just happened to come across him on Boom Studios. I don't read Power Rangers, but I was reading the Buffy Vampire Slayer, I think about 2019. And I was like, who the heck is this artist? Because the cover and the art looks exactly like the actual characters. And then by issue 5, they were gone. It was like the quality just dropped. I was just like, whoa, it just blows your mind. So and then I looked up, it's like Dan Mora. I'm like, wait, that's a guy at Batman now. It's just like it's crazy how they just will work for years at a indie place, a studio, and then just jump. They're gone.
Yeah.
So
And
it's like,
oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, like, when it comes to like people always ask me, like, who's your dream artist to get on the cover? Like, I already got him. I got my dream artist on issue 1, Tim Vigil. Tim Vigil did a cover. He did the main cover for issue 1. That was my dream, and I couldn't be happier about that. But
Kickstarter one?
Oh no, the one for Lunar Distribution, the main cover for the stores.
The one I showed up before, not this one, right?
No, not that one. No,
Okay.
Tim, the main cover for issue 1.
I have to look it up again.
Yeah, he killed it. And I got Stuart Sager to do one for me. I mean, Ariel Diaz, she's killed. She's Marvel exclusive now. She killed it. Lobos did one. He's Marvel exclusive now. There's a couple other guys like I would love to get on a cover. Like one is I don't know how difficult or hard it'd be, but Tim Truman. I would love to get a Tim Truman cover from him someday. Another one would be like a John Toddleman or Steve Bissett. Just like I love these old school guys, and I think a lot of them have like that touch. I think it would really benefit with a story like Born of Blood.
So I have a question.
Sure.
Are you a comic collector at all?
Yeah, I have a lot of indie stuff. Really, like I have a lot of hardcovers. I have a lot of trades. I have a lot of old school magazines from the 80s and 90s. I have a lot of the Nexus issues. I have Grendel. I have the Tick. I have the Moon Knight magazines. I've been reading and I've been rereading Airboy by Chuck Dixon. I love that. I've been rereading Nexus by Mike Barron, Steve Rude. I love the 80s and 90s indie stuff.
That was definitely the golden age of indies. I said, we've we had Chuck Dixon on a couple months ago, and that I wanted to talk about Airboy. In fact, I led off with that because that's great that you did all this Batman stuff and the Punisher. I want to talk Airboy.
Man, you look at that art. He had Graham Nolan and he had Tim Truman. He was working with these guys on Airboy. That's insane.
Yeah, it's the the biggest disappointment of the 80s, temporary disappointment, was when Tim Truman left Grimjack to do Scout.
Yeah.
And then Scout came out, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, and so so I have the Scout trade paperbacks, but like I've read it's a good looking comic, but it's okay story wise. It's not great. It's okay.
It's not Grimjack because Tim Truman is not John Ostrander.
Yes, that's correct.
But it's still, I will take that over just about any indies coming out today.
Except for this.
I said almost. But I said, Grimjack was just, if you haven't read it, it's hard to describe how good it was.
It's one of those concepts where you read it, it's like it's a hard nut to crack. It's a kind of a hard sell to people, sometimes, the concept of it. It's an interesting, cool concept.
That I remember John Ostrander, got on with DC after that or during that, and he got the Suicide Squad post crisis. See, I brought it up first tonight. And the first page, it's in an airport, and over the loudspeaker you hear paging Mr. John Gaunt to the phones.
Oh my! I gotta check that out now. It's like I think I have that trade at home. I need to look that up. I need to see if I can find it. I completely missed that. Oh my! How did I miss that?
Oh man! So, is there anything else you maybe want to hawk at all or advertise that's coming up? I know you got issue 5 coming out end of this.
Yeah. So this is live. You didn't tell me what you thought. What did you think of issue 5?
Issue 5, going through it, it adds more to the story. I don't want to say anything because it does. I find out more about a character, the main villain, and you find out more about the king, and then how is this gonna have an impact in issue 6 towards the daughter, Jairus, and Leonidas, and like his part of this, it's. And you gotta remember, she's been betrayed once. Will she be betrayed again? It's there's so many different what ifs that could happen, especially when you're getting down to the final issue. Issue 5, the art is great. I mean, no disrespect to the previous artists, but I could see artists change. I forgot who is the artist for the new one.
It was I believe it's his name is Emiliano. I got his name here. It's like Aurelio, I believe is his name.
So I'm happy with both artists.
Is it Aurelio Mazzara?
Yeah, if one, because we always joke about that, when Marco Cicchetto would leave on Daredevil.
Yes,
you get the fill-in artist, and you can tell the difference. It's
absolutely.
But with this, I didn't. I mean, I want to say I didn't notice, but now going back and thinking about it, I did notice a few of them things. But I'm happy if one guy gets burned out, you can have the other guy come on and do
Yeah, that's kind of what Carlos. He had a hard time keeping up on issue 4, so we just let him finish. Then we're just we're gonna let this guy get us across the finish line, and he may or may not be sticking around with us in the future. We'll see what happens. But Aurelio, he and I, we talked one day. We talk all the time, actually. We both love horror movies. I love horror movies, period. And I love Italian splatter movies. I love 80s horror films. And I told him the vibe. I sent him the pictures, what I'm going for with issue 6. And he dropped a certain 80s movie reference. He's like, I'm kind of thinking this for this double pager. I'm like, dude, perfect. You got it. That is exactly what I'm going for. And anytime I can talk with him about movie Demons or Lucio Fulci, it turns into an hour-long conversation.
That's how our conversations are here. We'll
So
go on
Ronnie has a couple good questions.
Yes. What was your favorite comic book character growing up?
Batman.
And then she also follows up with, if you could write for a current character, any company besides what you're working on, what would that be? And I'm going to add to that, if your hands weren't tied, what character would you want to write? You know.
So I've told on Wes's channel that I'm thinking critical. I have a Jason Todd story. I have a Batman Jason Todd story I'd love to write. Because I do have a Batman story to tell, and Batman Jason Todd, mostly Jason Todd, and I'd probably be the one thing I love to do, and right now.
Any ideas? Looking at a concept? Looking at as far as
so Josh McDonald, he of course he took it the other way when I gave the title. I'm like, okay, maybe I need to rework the title, but the working title of it is called Jason Todd Manhunt. So
well, that's more like Tim Drake right now.
Yeah. But so I am sick and tired, really, of Jason Todd doing all this flipping murdering, and he's not being held accountable at all for it. Period. Even by Batman, he's just told, "Don't you do it again? Don't do it again." But I want to tell a story where this one person he kills is too far, and GCPD and Batman, they need to bring him in, bring him down, and it's pretty much going to be Batman and GCPD. All matter who gets to him first.
So, follow-up question. That's because now you're talking about this. I noticed you had liked Three Jokers.
Mm-hmm.
So, when did this idea come across? Before or after you read that?
This actually came across during it was Batman Urban Legends, like those first few issues that Chip Zdarsky was writing, and I was look. Chip can be a really great writer. Yeah. But at the same time, he's shown that he can be a not so good writer, and there were elements of that story I liked. There were a lot of elements I didn't like, and one of the elements I did not like is the fact that he was not held accountable for any of the murders he committed in that series. Not at all. Period. None. And that drove me nuts. And like the story I would write is him being held accountable for a murder he did, and his ass is hauled to prison.
Well, yeah, it'd be like because he, in a sense, he should be treated like the Punisher. As Punisher was killing people. So why?
Exactly. That's exactly it. Yes.
Because they what's the last one I read? They had a story with Jason Todd, and just like he's written as an anti-hero, but but in a sense, if he's murdering criminals, mm-hmm. Now if it's self-defense, sure, but if he's going out looking for a fight, is that really self-defense?
No, it's not.
No,
it is legally defined as not self-defense.
Premeditated murder.
Yeah,
exactly.
Lawyer.
So.
Oh, but yeah, that's my pitch. That's the story I would love to write.
Yeah, it reminds you of the other when the Batman series when Barbara falls in the building and she has it's all fear gas,
Oh, so, yes. Over the Edge, great episode.
Over the Edge, and I love that how the GCPD goes after Batman, even in Nightwing and stuff, it's just like so. I love that, when you have somebody on the run, either framed or just having the world against them.
Yes, it's Jason on the run, trying to get out of Gotham. There's a dragnet all over him. You're trying to bring him down. They're kicking in doors, trying to find him. Yeah.
But is he looking for a one-armed man?
That's a twist. It was the one-armed guy who looks exactly like Jason Todd that did it. Yeah,
it was Detachable Arm Boy.
Yeah, Ace and Odd. Yeah, his name is Ace and Odd.
Ace and Odd. Guys, you gotta believe me.
He was Rick Grayson.
Rick Grayson.
Oh God.
Yeah, those years. We try not to think about those years.
No, those are rough.
Nah. All right. See, MK is asking, if you could write a comic base of any video game character, or video game, I guess he says, who would you choose?
I would say probably, I would love to get back to the roots and tell a kick-ass Resident Evil comic. Just get back to the true, based around like the first or second video game of Resident Evil. Just tell a comic based around that.
I would love, I like Raccoon City. That's probably my favorite one.
Yeah,
and I would definitely read a good comic adaptation of it.
Definitely, because I did not like whatever the hell it was that came out earlier last year.
Oh,
that was beyond awful.
Yeah, that was not Resident Evil.
Although I did like the Wesker portrayal.
The guy's a good actor, but I'm like, is that really Wesker? No.
Was that the guy, Lance something?
No,
Lance
Damien
Reddick?
Dark.
Oh, Damien Dark. Oh yeah, that guy. He is a good actor. He is a good actor. Yeah.
Neil
McDonald, I think, or McDonough. I think it's McDonough. He was Dum Dum Dugan in the Captain America.
And Damien Dark from Arrow. Like I said,
Yeah.
like the guys, and he was also in Justified, another villain.
Yes, he was. Yeah, he was. That's a great show. I love that film.
It's one of my favorites, and then Eric Breen's favorites too. He just brought up Lance Reddick, Bosch.
Oh God, I love Bosch. Yeah,
Cedric. He'll always be Cedric first.
The Lair.
Yeah.
I always see the guy from Fringe. That's every time I see him, I'm like, oh yeah, he's the guy from Fringe.
See, they can do that. There was a thing on Twitter today. Picture of Tim Curry. It said you can always tell you can tell how old somebody is by what they know this guy from.
Yeah,
that'll be Lance Reddick will be the next generation of that.
Home Alone 2, by the way, is Tim Curry, the first thing I saw him in. So do with that what you want.
First time I saw Tim Curry, there was no any of you guys yet.
I mean, as far as Tim Curry goes, they should do a comic adaptation of that movie where he's Dracula. The Halloween video he did, the spooky sing-along thing. I'm
not familiar with this.
Oh, Miranda probably knows.
Are you talking about Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Before Rocky Horror Picture? No.
I was about to say that's a really different thing.
No. There was another one. It was like where he's singing, and it wasn't Rocky Horror Pictures though. It was like he was dressed in like the tux like Dracula. He had the cape.
Huh.
And it was a Halloween song they did. I forgot what channel it was for, but you look it up on YouTube. Look up. It's on there.
I mean, it had to be pretty good to be better than Sweet Transvestite from Transylvania.
That's another thing too. No, nothing against people who like that movie. I just don't get it.
It's of its time more so than
I think it's more popular as people putting on a play than it is a movie to me.
Well, like I said, when you could go to the theater, when you go and be able to participate in it. I said, they had just stopped that like 2 weeks before I got to go, and it was missing something because of that.
Were you dressed up as Tim?
No, I didn't dress up or anything. We didn't get to take our props because a fight had broken out at the theater 2 weeks earlier by I guess somebody that didn't know what went on at this. If you don't know if you just go in thinking you're watching a movie and you get hit in the face with a piece of toast or something, you're probably going to get pissed.
I think they're going to argue over who's more sexy, Janet or Tim Curry.
Yeah. Well, that's more of a today thing, but
the first time I saw Tim Curry, he was a clown. Says MK.
Yeah, I was going to say it is where it started with me. It's when he's Pennywise. Yeah, I'll never ever forget that.
I still get a kick out of when I learned that he actually they're going to have him voice the Joker in Batman.
Yes, have you heard it? Have you heard his what he was?
Yeah. Oh, and they said I think was it Kevin Conroy said it in the little thing. He said like he just came off so freaking creepy, so eerie, so dark. It's just like wow. It's like this is supposed to be a kid's cartoon.
That's what. Yeah, it's just when you do hear it, it's like it doesn't have that. Yeah, Mark Hamill brought that creepy levity. He had some like a levity to it, whereas Tim didn't have that levity to it.
He could go. Well, Mark could go. Some scenes go really creepy, and then he goes like kind of happy, kind of laughing, insane.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
So he had a perfect balance, but then, like you said, like it's weird because like everybody like, oh, I love Mark Hamill for Luke Skywalker. I'm like, forget Star Wars, man. Joker.
Yeah.
And it's great that that guy found success through that because his acting career was going down the hill fast.
Yeah. 'Cause, I mean, yeah, he did the Joker for almost 30 years.
On and off. He did the cartoon, which started in 91, 92, or so, and then he went through that, and then that series went on to like 1998, but then he reprised it again in the Justice League cartoon.
Then you had the video games, and just wild.
I love the fact that he said he came out and he says, I'm not going to voice the Joker anymore because they don't have Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we have Troy Baker, who's a phenomenal voice actor. You can do the perfect. You ever hear him read the Killing Joke on the Comic-Con stuff? Like it's creepy. It's creepy. Look, yeah. Trying to think what else. I just watched the Legion of Superheroes movie, and they had Jensen Ackles again as Batman.
He does a good job. He does a good job.
I know. Yeah, and I'm wondering if he's gonna be like their go-to for Batman now, because there is another series animated movie coming out, but it's not Jensen Ackles. So, but he's like
the other guy who did a good job was I think his name is Bruce Greenwood. He did on the Young Justice.
Yep.
Yeah, Bruce Greenwood. He was good. He was in one of the Justice League movies I saw. I was looking at the older ones. I think it was Crisis on Two Earths.
I think it was the Tower of Babel.
It might have been Tower of Babel. Yeah, it might have been that one.
Yeah. Or Jason O'Hara is the other one who does the voice too. But like I said, the one thing that weirded me out the most was Matt Bomer, who originally had voiced Superman before in another movie, was the voice in The Flash, Barry Allen.
So weird.
For a little bit, yeah, I know, right? So like, if you're coming into these movies and you've never watched it before, you're like, oh, I don't mind. It's like a 5-second scene, Literally, it is. Like, he runs in, hey, sorry, I'm late, and then they cut away from him. Oh man, but do you guys have any more questions in the chat at all? I'm running empty as far as questions.
This is your hour of amnesty. You can ask me whatever you want.
All right. Anything?
No questions from
you. Did such a fine job of conducting this interview, Venkman, that we've all had our questions answered. We feel like we've gotten the full experience.
All right. Are you being sarcastic or are you actually being realistic? But I appreciate it, Breen.
It would be sarcastic or sincere. I will let you. Yes, okay. So, are you doing the aficionados tomorrow?
No, but I will be doing the best of the week with Wes after that.
Oh, right on.
Oh, you still get to make videos with Wes. Next time you talk to him, give him my worst. I mean,
absolutely.
So, what current comic books are you reading? If you're reading any?
Oh, so here at Comics Elite, I am reading about anywhere between 30 to 40 new comics a week. I'm really immersing myself every week in comics because one thing I learned from Alan Moore, like his interviews, his process is that you don't only have to just read comic books. You have to read the bad comic books. You need to really see what works, what doesn't, and how you can make those better, how you can fix something. And I like to think I'm doing that a lot by reading a lot of DC and Marvel stuff right now. And I'm really seeing what works and what doesn't. And I'm steering away from those with my comic.
Is there any title that you're talking about the bad ones, but is there any titles that you prefer, like you actually look forward to, or is it all pretty much just...
Absolutely. I mean, I'll say say what you will about him. He's great. Look, he can be an asshole. My favorite series right now is World's Finest. It is arguably the best from DC Comics right now.
Yeah, it's great. I've been liking it a lot. I have the same attitude pretty much. Like, he might not be a great person, but as a writer, like, he does a really good job. I feel like capturing the tone, especially the Silver Age kind of tone.
And like, being a reader, like, I have a reader, we're always waiting for like, okay, when's the other shoe gonna fall?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it hasn't. So it's like, man, when you can get Breen to come out and read a new book, because Marvel doesn't exist after 2012. so I was get a kick out and Breen times like, hey, I got this book too. It's like, holy crap, he's got a book. It's not a fake issue. Mark,
I did read the Paul Levitt's Avengers book.
That is amazing. I had so much fun reading that.
He really got the feel of the book that it really could have taken place after Avengers 11, because the aforementioned Mr. Wade did an Avengers series about 5 years ago where he tried to shoehorn some extra continuity into Avengers 17 through 24, and it felt a little forced. Levitz's did not at all. So for somebody who's never written a Marvel comic, he really did nail it.
Yes, he did. I had so much fun reading that. It's just a very fast paced, quick, action centered comic, and you got Alan Davis on the art and Paul Levitz. I'm like, how you can't go wrong with that.
You like those little gutter panels that you did, like it just fits in right after issue 11. The art just like I said, I love the art. How the art just feels like it was back then, for the interior pages. Mm-hmm. Another thing that's not always being shown in comic books.
Mm-hmm. And I love the dialogue. The dialogue he gave the characters. It really felt like it could have taken place right after that issue with how they're written, how the Wasp was written. I loved it.
Yeah, we don't like the Wasp on here. She's a floozy.
Well,
speak for yourself.
Yeah, Paul Levitz. Without Paul Levitz, Jeanette Kahn's tenure at DC wouldn't have been nearly as successful, because he was basically her right hand for the majority of the time she was there, and then he ended up succeeding her as the top guy. So I mean he definitely has the pedigree and a lot of really good writing credits as well. So I'm not surprised he was able to do that.
Yeah, the other book I were reading, and I know Breen's still reading too, is Lord of the Jungle, Dan Jurgens.
Yes, yeah, Dan Jurgens. Yeah, he's killing that. Yeah,
that art just seals the deal for you, because it feels like the original art.
Absolutely, yeah. It feels like a great Silver Age, Bronze Age comic, especially with that. Looks like John Buscema. They would have.
It's funny. Yeah. I saw Jack Geis. And when I was touting it, I do a show on Wednesday nights called the 4-Color Fossils, where a bunch of guys my age show off books they're older than even me.
What?
I know, they had comics back then.
I thought they only had tablets when you were around.
It's like Wes likes to say that I was there when Old Buck or whatever came out in 1839. But
we know you dropped the other 5 commandments.
But yeah, that's right. And when I showed that on there, one of the guys, first thing he said was, "That's John Buscema," or I should say Buscema, because I saw an interview with him and he finally heard him pronounce his last name.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like we read all the names like Bill Sienkiewicz or Sienkiewicz, until you actually hear somebody actually pronounce the name correctly, and Rachel Go, Raza Go, It's one of those things. So when I'm always like, when I read a character, it's like, and you got all these characters like JRS, Mora, is it Aurelia?
Aurelia, yeah.
Aurelia, yeah. And it's like it's got all the big names, man. It's like,
and I was trying to be so a little fun fact with Giaris. So if historically her name in real life was Gorgo. And I told that to Sean, my publisher, and he just flat out said, "No, that sucks. Change it." And I was like, "All right." So I just started doing research in the Mediterranean, and I found an island. I think it was called Giara, and I said, "Well, how about Giaris?" I said, "Perfect, go." I'm like, "All right."
Gorgo, that's too close to Kragu, like Star Wars.
Well, Gorgo was a monster. There was a movie in the early 60s, and Charlton Comics did an adaptation in the comic book about it. And Gorgo is this giant green monster who basically the thing of the movie is Gorgo's captured by some people to put on display, and his mom comes looking for him. and mom's like Godzilla size. And it's basically mom stomping the hell out of London. Yeah,
Wow.
gets her son back and they leave. But in between, she steps on just about everybody.
Speaking of monsters, will we see any like kraken creatures at all in your book?
I can't say.
Can't say.
Can't say.
Yeah, that's another thing I love too is when you have like you add on like you have their ancient history and then you add on some of like the supernatural kind of creatures like that. So one of the reasons I've been reading Belle right now through Xenoscope.
Yeah,
she's been taking on like the old Greek different gods, and creatures like that, and it's been like, and it's another example of a strong female character protagonist, who makes mistakes and always gets herself in over her head. So they balance the humor, and then they have the supernatural elements. So that's another reason why I kind of got into yours too, because I was like, it's a little less humor, but it's kind of to me in a sense where she's still learning. And I like that. It's just it's just like I said, it's I love cheesecake. But I also love having a good story where it backs up the actual the character. Because I don't want to have a fake person up there. Like, I'm a warrior. Respect me. Okay, lunch break.
No, she's going to get her ass kicked. She's going to be betrayed. She's going to be heartbroken. She's going to run the full gamut of emotion. She's going to fall in love. As you see, she falls in love. She grows as a woman. And with issue 6, like I said, issue 6 is the horror story. So that's all I'm going to say for right now.
I was going to say, man, dying on that cliffhanger 5.
Yeah.
It's like, and Zach, so once you get a chance to read 4, let me know.
Okay.
You read the first 2, I think.
Yeah.
I've been slowly converting him into becoming a fan.
That's awesome.
So any idea when the Kickstarter is going to be for, like, you guys have one for issue 4?
Yeah, I think issue 4 will probably be in a few months, because we're doing right now. We're doing like 2-week, 10-day campaigns now for anything that isn't in issue 1, and so I think next we're doing a Death Rage coming up. Then we're gonna do a Miss Me Out. Then we got the Born of Blood 4 Kickstarter, and then that cycle again, and then Born of Blood 5 will be on there. It just we got different ones planned throughout the year.
Because 3 just ended, and then you guys are releasing these out to the comic book stores first, and then the Kickstarter comes out like the same week,
or the next month or so.
Month or so.
Yeah.
So and if you guys miss them, we go to Merc Publishing.
Yeah, you go to mercpublishing.com. Because I do know, look, these books can be ordered by your comic book shop. They're in Lunar distribution. They're in the Lunar catalog. All you got to do is tell them, hey, it's right below Batman under Born of Blood. They can find it. It's in that same catalog. But if they don't want to order it, you can come to Merc Publishing, or you can come to comicselitecomics.com. You can order them there as well. We ship all over the globe.
All right. So we show off for those who have kids, hide your kids. We're going to Merc Publishing.
Hide your wife, hide your kids.
Yeah. A little risque. Obviously,
that's
going through here, the Death Rage Kickstarter edition.
Yeah.
Right here.
Oh, I was going to say
the artist. Yeah, the artist. Yeah.
Yeah. Shikari, right there at the top. Yeah, he is turning into the big superstar right now.
Yeah, I've been seeing stuff, and now there's even a calendar out for like $20 this year. So Zach, now that you're single, you can have a calendar. And then we get to the risque stuff as you go down. I was here the play. I was like, wow. I noticed you had a sweater on the other day in one of the other videos. Are you wearing the Merc Publishing sweater, or do you have your own stuff?
I got Merc stuff I wear. Yeah, I've got a Merc hoodie. Excuse me. I got Merc hoodies. I got polos. I got T-shirts. I got the Jay Ferguson Born of Blood T-shirt. And,
that's cool. You guys got the cotton drawstring bag. Not. There's no man purse. Sorry there, Zach. I think water bottle
Maybe there'll be a fanny
too.
pack in the future. We'll see.
So, so I was looking at this digital downloads. That's the first thing I looked through when I go on here, because that's how I was able to read some of these because I don't have issue 2.
Yeah.
But I figured, you know what? So like showing off the books here, I like having digital format too. I like physical, but I also like having digital format because I can enlarge the screen and look at stuff. Read it.
Hey, you got those green age eyes. Yeah.
What?
Well, no, I have a freaking
What?
27-inch monitor.
What?
It's great.
Oh, so there's
So-
the Tim Vigil cover right there for Born of Blood. That
Right here.
that's the Tim Vigil cover.
Yeah. So $5 for digital, and then and then if you what is your free domestic shipping over $100?
Mm-hmm.
So my question is there going to be a soft cover or a hardcover trades coming after these?
So we're in.
Yeah.
So Sean has said we are doing a collection of these. I want the hard. Me personally, I want the hardcover.
Sure.
I don't see there being an issue with Sean, or us doing both, offering both. If you want the hardcover, yeah, you get the hardcover. If you want the trade, you can get the trade. If you want both, you can get both. But that's going to be discussed probably later this year.
Yeah, I'm the guy that's already looking ahead, like a few years later. I want the omnibus.
Yeah, trust me. I've talked to Aaron. Aaron and I, we want the omnibus. We want the omnibuy. Trust me, we do.
I love those absolute collection, the oversized deluxe ones.
Yes,
those are also awesome.
I've got like 15 of those at home. We got all the Swamp Things. I've got Kingdom Come. I got All-Star Superman, Watchmen. Yeah, I love them.
I've been getting the Deadly Class ones. I got the Criminal, Volume 1. Then I got what was the other one I got? Firepower.
Okay.
So yeah, the Prelude plus
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, I love the fact that they're oversized. I mean, and you can hold more books in there too. So I just picked up the Invincible omnibus that came out. And my thing I think is it's a heavy ass book, but it's like it's only one instead of having like 30 volumes, trades like you used to do.
Yeah.
Now you can condense it down to I have 42 issues and it's this Bible.
Compendium. Yeah. I've got all 3 compendiums at home. Yeah. It's like it's a door stopper. Yeah.
It's more like a U stopper too if you carry all 3 of them. I literally threw my back out carrying moving the omnibus, for that last Wednesday. I was because I put it in the back. I have one of those which one called comic box bins. I have the cardboard ones. Some of those, but it's a white one, and I keep it. But I have a magazine version, so I keep it in the back of my car, and that's how I transport my comics from the shop to my to my house. Mm-hmm. So I had to I had to lean in. So I was carrying one of those. I was like, oh my god, this is not good. And I didn't feel it till later on. I was in the car, and you go, that center console, reach over, and then there it is. I'm only 37, and I'm starting to feel like Breen. It's not good.
It's not the age, it's the mileage.
Right.
I'd respond to that, but I'm eating popcorn.
Be careful, Breen, or we get the whole entire bag if you got it from Trader Joe's. No, but yeah, so I love the fact that you have the PDFs on here too, and so
yeah, PDFs are very popular, especially on Born in Blood 3. We saw, for example, the PDFs were a significant number of people buying them. So
people are like, well, they're $5 for a PDF. Well, it's $5 you pay for a physical at a shop, right?
Yeah,
$9, because that includes the shipping and the printing material. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I've been like this, and then you guys even have the Kickstarter editions too. I've noticed that of Born in the Blood.
Yep, you can get the original Born of Blood uncut edition, if you will. Just that first page is back in there because the later edition, that first page is gone.
Yeah, look at the price on these like this.
Yeah, so I've got that that Elias. I'm sorry, I've got the Lobos OA at home up on my wall.
Right here.
Yeah, that cover. I got that OA up on my wall. I love it. Yeah.
Nice. I thought I said 149. I was like, whoa. That's the thing I noticed too is people buy the tiers and then they back you guys. Like you had like I noticed you had like 400. I was like,
yeah,
you got to be like a shop owner. It's like I'm thinking like that's a lot of money to drop on.
It is, but you know, some guys are just big fans. Some guys just have that money to drop, and they're big collectors, and they'll buy one of everything.
I've been trying to get Breen to buy me stuff. He's got all that money. They'll let him fool you.
Yeah, maybe someday we can auction a first printing of Born of Blood #1, get $2,000 for that too.
Oh, I only hope.
Yeah, you heard about that? Common America, the trade was on there, and like it went for like $2,000 on over on East Ingleton's auction.
That is
insane because, well, especially when we're only used to like the highest bidding is like what $100, $150.
The highest it was a Zorro, I think, that it got, or a Zorro or Lone Ranger that got like 160.
I think it was those
two guys got into a bidding war. It stalled at 300, then somebody else jumped in, and it ended up at 2.
Wow. Yeah, and it's insane when it comes to online bidding, since like it's like, okay, is this guy is racking up the bid because we have people come in there and try to rack up stuff, the fake bidders that people obviously that's the thing I don't understand about drama on YouTube. Somebody doesn't like an artist or writer, so they have to come in, and then whenever they do something, we've had Tim on. I've gotten for people who don't like Tim. Or and it's just like, why are you here? I mean, if you want to watch the video, sure, like I don't care, but it's like I don't understand the pettiness behind the rivalry.
Not liking Tim's like not liking ice cream.
I know it
just shouldn't be possible.
It's like I guess people they're very anti-rabbit. That's what it is. But like I said, it's insane to me, like having a book of yours being bid on for $2,000. Somebody wants it that much because it's out of print, you can't get it, and then Tim's like, it's even signed. I signed it. So I was like, oh, that's cool too. That's the other thing, dude. I saw you were signing some books at some of the shops in one of your videos.
Yeah, I at Merc Publishing Warehouse, I was signing like Comics Elite. I'll be signing. I was at Midtown Comics, did a signing. Yeah, like I'll sign them. Yeah, just and that's actually when the backer kit goes out for issue 3, there'll be a tier where you can get me to, if you want me to sign it, I'll sign it. So,
yeah. So what's that like going into a shop and just like picking up a book and start signing it? That's gotta be kind of weird. It's like, this is my book. I'm the writer.
yeah, I just tell them like, yeah, I wrote that. They're like, wait, what do you mean you wrote it? Like, telling a store owner like, yeah, I'm the writer of that. I'm like, wait, what do you mean you wrote it? Yeah, it's like someone once said, what do you mean you wrote it? I'm like, I'm the writer of that comic book. And they just couldn't grasp it. Like they'd never heard that before, never seen that happen.
Right. Well, I imagine it depends where you're based out of, where you're going into. I mean, New York, I imagine it's like all the time,
Yeah, well, it's funny you mention that. Like when I went in to Midtown and I saw Born of Blood on there, I was signing some copies. I ran into the artist of Moon Knight, Alessandro Capuccio. He was in there. He was like, hey, man, what's going on? So we met each other at another show. I'm like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, oh, I'm signing some comics. And he was picking up some comics before he left. So, yeah, that was fun. That was pretty fun seeing him.
Did he pick up your comic before he left? No.
Unfortunately, I was oh my, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I had a very good brunch, and there may have been some alcoholic beverages at this brunch, and I went in there a little buzzed. I completely wasn't in a mode to bring that up to him. if I had been sober, I probably would have brought it up.
No, yeah. Venkman just goes into stores and starts writing on random covers, and when they approach him, he goes, I'm writing on these comics.
I'm writing it. I can't believe they're letting me write this.
We're here. MK's asking, do you like pizza?
Yeah, pizzas. I love Yeah, I like a margarita pizza. It's like my favorite to eat.
Favorite topping is margarita. Is there
Grilled
so
chicken, spinach, and sliced tomato.
worst topping you'll ever have?
Anchovies. I've had anchovies on pizza. I'll never do it again.
So you like pineapple too?
Pineapple's not bad. I'll take pineapple over anchovies or mushrooms.
Really?
Yes.
I'm more the mushroom, like the peppers up, but black olives, pineapples, and anchovies. No.
Mm-mm.
I'm with you on anchovies. Mushroom, that's a deal breaker. That's the best topping on a pizza.
Oh, yes.
Especially when you get the big chunks of it too.
No.
So now my brother-in-law is a chef, but he's got so much other talent. He didn't make a career out of it, but every once in a while he'll just start making pizzas from scratch, and he'll make them with things that you never think to put on pizza, but they're all great.
Sliced up eggs, fries.
Yeah, Chevy truck axles, broken
Crushed
glass.
Oreos.
It's great.
Brake fluid. Never thought about that.
Yeah.
Mariah's asking, what is your long-term plan for your characters?
We're kind of taking it year by year, and it's funny. The original plan of this was just to do one comic, just to do one issue. Like issue 1, if you read issue 1, that could be kind of like its own standalone issue. But and then we wrote 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But there is a plan. I do have plans and schemes for Giaris. Fun plans. We're gonna, like I said, time and history has been altered in the Merc universe. So I'm gonna have fun with that. That's all I'm gonna say.
So you guys are sticking with the six issue format, or are you guys going to go longer, like 10 issues here or 4 issues?
Yeah, some like and the next follow up maybe 3 issues, another one maybe 4, maybe 6, but there will be no decompressed storytelling.
All right. Oh, here's a question. If you could have your favorite writer write a story of Born in Blood, how would you go about getting him to do that?
How would I go about getting him to do that? Oh my god!
Because now you're getting more. You're getting recognized now. You're going to Comic-Con stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, it would be great to have like one of your favorite writers write a guest story. Like,
no, there's a few names that come to mind. I would love to have write a story. One is David Quinn, who wrote Faust with Tim Vigil. I think his approach would be good for this. Another one would be Robert Venditti, and another one would be Chuck Dixon. Those are like my 3. I would love to have write a Born in Blood series. Like, I just tell them this is a more or less, kind of like a real woman. Just she's not perfect. She's a warrior, but she has a heart. She can be wounded. She can be hurt. She's not perfect. I think there's something here with this character, and
yeah. I like how Chuck, his Catwoman run, and then you had his Birds of Prey run too.
Yeah.
So Chuck is another one of those writers that understands, like, that this actually is a female character. This isn't just a female character with just basic in name only, where it's just a man. They write him so wooden, or they write the character where it's like, oh, she's just a bimbo.
Yeah, and like in issue 5, you saw there's a great moment in a household with Giaris and someone else, and I like to think that there's a touch right there. Like I think Chuck would see that, like, okay, there's something here. This is a real character.
And I want to see that character come back, I want to see that character come back and be like a sidekick or something like that, or grow up and like, that's her story for the next arc,
We'll see. That's all we'll see.
I'm getting Cassie Sandmark vibes. That's another thing too. Legacies. Yeah. Have you guys probably occurred to you ever doing legacy characters at all?
Yeah, we're in Merc Publishing, Merc Universe, or are we talking about legacy characters in DC writing those?
What kind of like well, yeah, not someone takes over the mantle, but basically someone who continues the fight. Say you have a future version of Born. I mean, obviously, we know what happens to Sparta, but I mean, 30 years down the line, and we have the new warrior, takes over for Sparta,
or is it a new warrior?
Or yeah,
I don't know. If you've been reading Miss Meow and Death Rage, you'll know there are certain lineages that have kind of carried on. There's still some right now I have to be hush hush about. So
yeah, I know it's like you have all this information. It's gonna come out like this. Basically, yes, we have questions. Just say no more.
When we've thought about it, we're plotting, we're scheming. Yes, these have come up,
and that's
subvert expectations and have the new warriors take over.
We have I'm sorry, we have Trailblazer popping in as the star.
That'd be awesome. You think you need more double page spreads though.
Yeah.
Trailblazer, guest starring Lizzo. It's Trailblazer.
There you go. You just fan casted the hell out of that.
I've been noticing that, I read I'm not a big huge Spawn fan. I've been reading The Scorched, and so Zach, and it's kind of like an Avengers team almost in a sense.
Yeah, like a Dark Avenger. Like this. What is it? Savage Avengers, kind of like. They're a team, but they're not really a team.
So I like that when comic books start doing that, and you guys are doing some crossovers, through Merc Publishing, world building.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, it's hard to say because Born of Blood isn't really. She's not really a superhero in the capes, or
no.
I haven't read Death Rage, or it's called. I think it's called. I haven't not sure what that is, but I know that Miss Meow is like a thief.
A scientist, kind of thief. Yeah.
So
it's super tech. There's a lot going on in Miss Meow. I wish Aaron Sparrow were here because Aaron's writing it with Murphy. Aaron can explain it to you better.
Well, we can have him on next week. He can come back.
There you go.
Yeah, it's the thing. I love it when you actually when you do the world building, and sometimes I obviously love capes, but I also love my Conan the Barbarian stuff,
Yeah.
The hack slash, gets the girl,
Mm-hmm.
so or gets the guy.
Yeah.
Well, today's Marvel gets the guy.
Yeah, I'm so excited to write the next arc for Born of Blood. When I originally pitched it to Aaron, this is how it's going to happen, the 3 issues, beat by beat, and then Aaron said, "You had me at blank." I can't say what it is. He's like, "You had me at blank." Like, yes. So I can't wait to get cracking on it.
Okay, well, Vang, I was just gonna DM All Ego Aaron Sparrow. Apparently, he's living up to his name because you can't DM him. So I don't know how to get a hold of him.
Well, we got him. We got Joe. We got Dolan here. So we can go on the channel. We get all 3 of them on the channel.
Yeah.
Chaos.
Yeah, that'd be cool if we could get Aaron to come on next week. Because you know he likes AEW.
Really?
Well, that's right now. That's his. He went from I'm Aaron Sparrow and so can you. Now he's All Ego Aaron Sparrow. That's his Twitter name at the moment.
Are you trying to say that I'm Matt Hardy? No. Yeah, like I said, I love having people on who are passionate about what they're doing with their writing stuff. And we're just a small little lonely channel who just makes fun of. We butcher comic books in our readings. So I always ask when we have writers on, if you're not busy, we'd love to have you read with us.
Oh, absolutely.
If you've watched any of our readings,
no, I don't think I have yet. But
then you won't be back next week then.
No, we've got a couple guys with real talent, and then there's the people you're streaming with now. But by gosh, we try.
I mean, especially when it comes to Fantastic Four, too. Like they have me read Reed Richards as I did it once. He's a redneck that drinks beer. Goes cracking open a can of beer. we got our
Melania, who's in the chat. She does the thing.
Mm.
I do Sue Storm as Cary Grant, and Zach does the Human Torch as like a surfer dude.
That's I can see that.
And when Alicia's in the issue, I do it, but I talk like this.
Like Dr. Girlfriend. Okay.
So it's Stan Lee would be turning over in his grave.
Stan and Jack are like looking down at us, going, "What have we done?"
You think they actually look at us? They probably are like, "Who are these people?"
Well, they probably just hear us, and they're like, "Our life's work has been ruined."
Again, and Jack Kirby's going, "I'm a Disney legend."
Yeah. It's crazy. We have our friend Trusty Sidekick comes in here. He does an awesome Stan Lee impression. So,
His Stan Lee impression is nothing compared to how good his James Mason was last week. That was frightening.
But I mean, when I say Stan Lee, I'm not saying like,
oh no. He does a great Stan Lee, but
yeah.
His James Mason was.
It's video right there.
If you didn't know, you would think that we were piping in James Mason's actual voice. It is that good. I've never heard anybody on any of our channels do an impression as well as he does James Mason.
He also does Sean Connery. I like freaking Beetlejuice.
Of course, half the people are going, "Who's James Mason?"
It's like watch the Salem's Lot original miniseries from the 70s. You'll know what I'm talking about.
I was about to say, you said Jay. I was getting hung up on the Mason, man. I kept thinking of Perry Mason.
They're brothers. Tweet that out. No, we have fun. We read all the old issues, and of course we just do silly voices. So there'll be time where we have this thing called the Rawhide voice that Mr. Eric Breen has really got down voice. You're probably wondering what Rawhide means. Well, it's basically if you I Love Comics, we read the Rawhide comic book 4-issue miniseries where he was just like, "Oh
you
my!"
Say Rawhide Kid.
Yeah, I
know.
But
there's no issue of Rawhide.
Ron Zimmerman, a Hollywood writer, reimagined him as flamboyantly gay, and John Severn did the art, but we're pretty sure that they didn't tell John what they were doing to Rawhide, because I don't know how familiar you are with John Severn, but he's an old EC artist that did war and stuff. Very serious artist through the 50s, 60s, 70s, and into the early 80s. And he was still kicking in the early 2000s, and they got him to do the art. But it did not do the character of Rawhide any favors.
No, I remember when that came out when I was a kid. Like, yep, there it is. I remember that cover. Yep.
Yeah.
It turns out if it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, because they obviously you can tell that they're presenting him as being very, very gay, but the story itself it's kind of done straight with straight's not the right word, and I'm not trying to be clear. But I mean, there's an actual Western story there. If you just look past the way he acts, I mean, it's basically a father winning back the respect of his son. And so it actually has a legitimate theme, but it just in between, there's just, they basically shit all over Rawhide's legacy. But so I did the voice for Rawhide, and now whenever if we're bored during a story, we just have somebody get the Rawhide virus, and that character will start speaking like that.
Yep. Let's see your art. It's great art, but it's just like, wow.
Well, John Severn's an all-time great.
So really enjoy that. So we'll basically be reading some stuff, and then that'll pop up but then we'll go French to German to Russian to whatever. And I gotta tell you, the worst thing ever is when I decided to do Richards as like this, the cowboy. And in the stream, because those freaking books back then, it takes us an hour to get through them because just reading alone, it's the dialogue. I'm like, when the narrator is like reading, like whoever's the narrator, I'm just sitting there just chucking down a bottle of water and just cough drops because it just, after a while. Marania, I feel bad for her because she has to read the thing, like it's just like it's weird because we get people like, why doesn't Breen just read the guy parts? Well, if you tuned in the very first readings, it was the opposite.
The answer to that is the same reason why the time Skip read with us, we had him read all the white guys. That's just kind of how we are.
Yeah, we get a little bit I'd say we get canceled if we ever get found out.
We'd get canceled on a book by book basis.
You got a white guy, me reading as a Luke Cage, and calling people honkies, it's just like I said, we just have so much fun with it. And then the great thing is that these are books I've never read before, 2 issues, so it allows me to check them out too, and just we just have fun. And that's all we do here on Fridays. We do like a weekly retrospective. We'll look at a book, review it. Sometimes we have creators on like you on, and we do the readings, TV show reviews, and then of course the puppets do the reviews. So we
had to fill the retrospective void that Wes left when he fired me and Joe.
Wait, he fired you? I thought you guys quit.
No, it became too time consuming for Wes. Yeah, because that is his job now. Yeah, the sad reality is there's more prep time for a retrospective in 1/5 of the views. So you got to go where the money is.
Mm-hmm.
Brokeback Mountain got the idea from Rawhide Kid. What was the other one? Funny enough, the reading as a thing doesn't hurt my throat as much, shifting back to reading female voices. That's what happens. They always tell your mom always tells you, if you make silly faces, your face will get stuck like that. MK says, I can read as a chick and say in any age. I can just say I identify as a chick.
Yeah, MK has an amazing voice. I mean, it's deeper than. Let's just say, you have to hear it to believe.
He was asking if you're a horror fan.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I love horror films, and honestly, to me, my favorite horror film of all time is The Thing with Kurt Russell. That is my opinion. Like, does not get better than that. But I do love like survival horror stories too. Like one of my all-time favorite films is, not many people have seen it. It's called Sorcerer. It's by William Friedkin. Came out in the 70s with Roy Scheider. It is a great movie. Just desperate men in a desperate situation, and they just have to survive. It is a great movie. I highly encourage everyone to check that out.
Yeah, going back to The Thing for a second, have you seen the original?
Yeah, I have. It's a fun movie.
I'll tell you what, for 1951, there's some legitimate scares in that.
Yeah, like the one, like, I can't believe they set that guy on fire. I couldn't believe they actually did that to the guy. That was pretty wild back in 1950s. It's pretty.
And then there's the dumbass scientist saying, "Oh, I'm on your side." Splat.
Oh man. All right. So here's the calendar right here too. $20. It has a preview of all the loads.
Oh yeah, the Blob remake. That is arguably, I don't want to say a perfect horror film, but it is right up there. It is a great horror film. I mean, there's a couple times where the special effects toward the end where it's like, but really it's hard to argue against the Blob remake.
So
Right here.
kind of partial to the original. Steve McQueen can't do that.
All right.
Yeah, there's Cafe versus Naughty.
Trying to think what else. Oh, sorry. Want me to go short again?
Cafe versus Naughty and Nice. Yeah, a lot of great covers in that one too. Yeah, great memories there.
All right. And then you have now you have 2 YouTube channels. I don't know which one to list. The newest one, I guess, is
just honestly, it's Drew with Comics Elite. Just go to that one. Everyone goes to that one.
okay. Because you just recently teamed up with Comics Elite.
Actually, I've been friends with Sean since he moved to Indianapolis, pretty much back in 2017, and been hanging out with him since the beginning. And yeah, it's been a wild ride just hanging out with him, and he's seen him become a publisher and being part of this on this journey with him. It's been wild. The last year or so has been, never would have expected this.
Yeah, I was looking at some of their channel on there, and it's a little intro video, and he's like, I'm just gonna have people come on, writers come on, or people who don't collect comics. We're just gonna review. He does his top 10 every week. He does.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that you were on there on one of the videos too.
Yep, I do. So I do those every week with my brother Kyle. We review comics every week. We do our top 10 and we do our worst of the week.
Yeah, looks like they're live right now.
Yeah, he's right. Kyle is right across the hall from me right now with.
Okay, that's funny. They're stream snapping us though. Let me see here. Let me show that screen here. Yeah, so yeah, I like you guys' banners. I love the fact you guys got the Facebook and the comic store and all stuff in there.
Yeah, it's wild just going to conventions and you got people coming up to you like, oh my god, I love your channel, or they're like, I don't like your reviews, I like Kyle's, I like Kyle's opinion better. I'm like, that's fair, that's fine, I don't care.
I'm gonna tell Kyle to stop streaming against your own brother.
Right. Right.
I was gonna say I'm the older brother, so yeah. Jeez.
And they'll go, who the hell is this idiot? Yep, Kyle, stop streaming against your big brother. Boom.
Where's Comics of the Week? And you got a Darkwing Duck on there? Oh, my heart is broken.
So like I said, I'm good friends with Aaron. I read it. I showed the pages to Aaron, and Aaron was not impressed.
It's like
someone's watching now. Say again. You're saying?
Aaron wasn't impressed, and I wasn't impressed. I mean, like, look, all I'm gonna say is it a bad comic? No, but is it written for little kids? Absolutely. If you're like a 5-year-old kid, you're probably going to love it. But we felt like how they marketed the comic, especially with like the 40 different variant covers. And if you go and read this as an adult, you're like, what is this? But because I was expecting something along the lines of Gargoyles. Gargoyles had like 40, 50 variant covers, but the story was really balanced, really damn good. And it wasn't that case with Darkwing Duck.
Yeah, Darkwing Duck, it was aimed towards the kid. I'm really heavily with the bias with the nostalgia because that was the show going up. And so I was like, I kind of felt like it actually, matched the actual show, which was actually aimed towards kids back then. That was when I was younger. Same with you. So I felt the ending was kind of rushed. But other than that, I would love to see it be an ongoing series, and because there's not many comics out there for kids, really to read without getting a message, you know what I mean? They don't. I don't want, or they're not being getting all these indoctrination stuff. I'd rather just have you just read a comic book, read a story. There's no message other than just be nice to someone.
Yeah, I would say a close second to the Darkwing Duck for that would be the Saturday morning adventure cartoon comics that IDW is doing, like the G.I. Joe, Real American Hero,
Ninja Turtles have been fun.
Ninja Turtles. Yeah, those are perfect for little kids too.
Yeah. Got the videos out here too. All right, so running out of questions here. We've been going for almost 2.5 hours.
Oh my gosh, you're saying we just started.
Breen, is your game over yet? You're watching basketball, aren't you?
This has my full attention.
What's the score?
Riveted.
Akron's up 10.
All right.
Not that I'm watching.
Zach, you're really quiet.
I know. I am sorry about that. I have been today. Ended up being
We're not
busier at work than haha. That's funny. No, I rushed home from work today, and I work in sales and insurance, so I have paperwork that has to get turned in. So I apologize. I'm just kind of an empty bubble here on the screen. But you know, like I said, it has been. I mean, it's just a ton of fun just listening to the whole creative process, how this book came to be. I was telling a friend of mine, I've been, especially with like, not that every comic today is bad. There are definitely some good ones out there, but like just by and large, like most books just kind of seem like a shadow of what they used to be.
Absolutely.
And so I was like, yeah, I might, you know, one of these days I might put together an idea or write up a script or something. And so, yeah, just kind of listening to somebody else that's got like this hot book, and you know, it's a really good book. Like, the first 2 issues I read were really good. So it's really kind of inspiring in a way to someone like me that's like thinking of trying to dabble and get into that arena. So it's really cool to listen in and get your perspective on that.
Was that a pun?
What would be the pun?
Arena?
Oh, because it's Sparta. I wasn't even trying on that one. It's a subconscious effort now.
Hey, Ronald Rugg. You made it, yeah. 2 hours, 21 minutes in. But you made it. All right. So, yeah, I'm trying to think of some more questions. I don't want to repeat questions. So what's your favorite food? No.
If we could see thought balloons right now, Drew's would be, God, please don't come up with any more questions. Please, for the love of God.
like I said, I don't want to keep Dolan. I want to keep you here. If you have to, let us know. Like don't be nice on our part.
I can hang around for a few more minutes. We can the 2.5 hour mark. How about that? I mean,
Sure, that sounds fine with me.
Minutes, yeah.
Chuck Dixon eventually said he had to wash his gerbil.
Is that a euphemism, or is he actually have to wash his
No.
gerbil?
He was desperate for anything by then. He goes, did you guys go all night?
Like, these people don't stop.
I think we went for what? Well, how long was that stream? 4 hours?
It was pretty
3.
long. It was pretty lengthy.
Well, we had more people on there, so we had more people on the panel asking questions too. And just like I said, the best thing about having a writer on is just listening to them, because a lot of times they have a lot of stuff they want you. It's just more interesting than what we're going to ask, you know.
Well, and you know, you said you were going to think about doing your own story, your own comic eventually. You know, what really does help, questions you need to answer are what is the tone of the story?
Mm-hmm.
What type of story am I telling? How long is the story going to be? And throughout it, really, really do consider the pacing. You really have to look at the pacing of the book.
Okay. I'm actually going to jot that down real quick. Cool. Yeah. Right
Also, Zach, make sure that you actually have characters in there that aren't just all white. That helps out too.
Well, no, it's going to be my trifecta. It's going to be cheesecake dinosaurs and then Nazis for the bad guys. You can't go wrong with those 3 things.
Or you could co-write with Marika Tamaki, and you could have dinosaurs eating cheesecake in a German bistro during World War II.
You know, to this day, I swear she did not write Dark Detective for Future State. I do not believe she did. Especially now.
Her Detective Comics or her 12-issue series she did for the Shadow of the Bad?
The Future State.
That.
Then the
No.
Future State, the when it was like the quote unquote dark future where Bruce Wayne was on the run, and I don't think she wrote that. I think Ben Abernathy wrote it, and she was maybe put in some dialogue or something.
Well, I would say picking up on that is that her Detective Comic run wasn't that awful.
No, it wasn't. But like I will say, the Shadows of the Bat event that really wound up to be nothing. Unfortunately,
At the end, yes,
didn't really help her case, and like I guess it wasn't bad. It was underwhelming. I'll say that.
Ron, yeah. Any question you have, just don't ask for his phone number.
Nope, not gonna happen.
Nope. Yeah, that's what's here for. Yeah, yes. Super chat if you want to ask a question.
Mariana, is that an African or European swallow? You gotta know these things.
No. Yeah, the species of swallow. I've heard that where they come from, they can carry more.
This was not asked, but he's asking, how do you keep original after a long time?
Oh, that is a good question.
Like keeping the story original or
fresh without having because a lot of times we'll see something we actually watch or read, and then our subconscious gets our subconscious, and then we start creating a story, and like, wait, I've read this before.
That's a good question. I like to think I've immersed myself with a lot of media. I've seen a lot of these stories being told, but I like to tell stories from different perspectives and different points of view, but with action in them, fast paced. But like, there may be stories that we're familiar with that may seem boring, from a point of view, but I like to think I can tweak those and make them action packed, add things to them to make them more exciting. But I think that's really keeping it original. Just tossing Giaris into a story we may be familiar with, something historical, something like we may be familiar with a historical event, but let's toss Giaris into that mix. How does this character fit into that story, into what happened? How does she relate? How does she connect with these two characters? How does she connect with that character? That's where you have the fun with it, where things, a perceived ending we thought would happen will not happen now because Giaris is now in the mix.
All right. So I think Mike Barron had said in his interview with us, he had said that he likes writing new stories. He likes fresh takes, fresh ideas. He likes that he doesn't want to write the same story twice. But I mean, like I said, I don't mind. I mean, some people might say it's because it's a female warrior, and then she's got a romantic love interest, and she's fighting.
I love writing fight scenes. I can write fight scenes until the day I die. If I could write like a 40-page comic of Batman beating the shit out of like 30 to 40, criminals, ninjas, whatever. I will write that every damn day, because I love writing. I can never get tired of writing fight scenes. You get to be creative with them. That's where I love to have fun, being creative and having fun with the fight scenes too.
So here's a question for you. You brought up about Red Hood being held accountable for his actions. Would you have Batman stop the Joker? Because he keeps breaking out. Would you have him, at the point where he just lets him die?
No.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense from a comic point of view, because you kind of want to get the character King coming back eventually, but but there are people who are like, and they're like, wow, the Joker's killed millions of people, and Batman just lets him, I'll put him back in Arkham. He's out the next day.
Yeah, well, see, Batman has that hope that I like to believe he has that faith and hope that he turns in the people to Arkham, that they can be healed, they can be helped, they can be cured. He doesn't. I like to think he puts them in Arkham, not expecting them to break out. He hopes they don't, but if they do, he'll be there.
Yeah. No, Ronald, I was just joking because we don't have super chats on here because we're not monetized. That's why we have a Ko-Fi link and all that stuff. But he says Batman needs Joker. All of the villains could die but without Joker, there is no Batman.
Well, I think it's the other way around. Joker needs I think it's Joker needs Batman. Joker needs him. One of my favorite pages was in The Dark Knight Returns, when you see Joker is locked up, he's catatonic. But as soon as he sees Batman, hears Batman on the news, he just like, but Batman, darling, just his will to live is back.
And speaking of good stuff coming out with comics, Batman, Mark Silvestri's art, his story he's been doing.
I just read the new issue coming out next week. It is amazing. This is the best Mark has looked in 20 years. This is the best Mark has looked in 20 years.
Without even the dialogue, I love that rooftop scene in issue 1 of the rain. So I just love that. I look at the Fantasy Four when they show Ben Grimm standing in the rain. You see the reflection in the pool puddle. I miss that kind of art. So it's great to see actually someone coming in and doing that art. Especially Mark Silvestri, who's been in the business for so long.
Yeah, because he knows how to tell a story, and that's very important. And his stories, he keeps them fun, action-centered, kinetic, great dialogue, just enough, not too much. They're fun. This is what I want in Batman. And I also read the new issue of Batman, and it's something. That's all I'm going to say. But Mark Silvestri's Batman run, this is the Batman we all need and want right now.
All right. And since you're a Batman fan, Detective or Batman, which one's better in your opinion? Current titles. Ram V or Chip Zdarsky?
Right now, I after reading this new one, they're kind of starting to merge at the same level now, but it's Batman right now still, but not by much.
All right. Hear that, Skip? Suck it,
hey! They're both. I enjoy both of them. I know everybody kind of fell out of Chip Zdarsky fell out of a lot of people's good graces when he started falling from space. But,
this new issue, it is just weird. Because this new issue coming out next week, I've already read it. It's just this new world is just weird, and it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know if I want this or like this or not, and it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea when they read this.
Okay. I'm kind of more interested now, actually.
As far as contributing to the channel, there is a Ko-Fi link. We have that, but you can share out stuff. That's the one thing you do. If you cannot donate money, it's no big deal. You can just share the channel, man. Showing up, clicking like, leaving comments, algorithm.
If you can't donate money, you can donate your time. Put the channel information on a sandwich board and go walk up and down busy streets.
Go into Chicago and do that.
Oh God, no! Please don't do that for us, please.
well, if the sandwich board's thick enough, you might be able to block the first couple shots.
Like I said, the biggest thing to help us out is word of mouth, man. Just showing up and just letting people know. I said if you could spare $1, it goes towards the StreamYard basically, which is like $20. I think $25 a month for the premium, which we use frequently here for the reading stuff. But also there's the Marvel and the DC app, which are like $70 and $80 yearly. So only one guy pays for all of it. So, and he's not here tonight. He's out working. He's out
working a third job so he can pay for this entertainment.
He's got that sandwich board up. Yeah. Oh, cool, dude. Like you said, dude. Any support for anything? Check out Born of Blood. Go to Comics Elite. He said he's already a subscriber. Host a watch party at Sweet Beans. Sweet Breens or Beans?
Breens is pretty sweet. He's got all those comics everywhere. It's like a museum.
We always joke about it. It's like, so Breen, why are you putting me in the will? If you go on Eric Breen's channel, his YouTube channel, if you ever watched that, he does a tour of his upstairs room.
Oh,
not his bedroom. It is where all the comic books are, and it is just, I just couldn't believe the collection. Puts my comic book shop to shame.
Nah, that's just. I actually set that room up. I said the collection I don't have anymore had 3 rooms like that. Difference was those boxes were filled with AF-15 on up.
Wow.
The stuff I have now, it looks impressive in the boxes. Then you pull them out and you go, this is dollar shit. But it's
went in heavy on Plasm back in the 90s with
no, actually, that it's funny. Like I said I did have all the Marvel superhero books from, like I said, Fantastic Four 1 through, I think, Fear itself.
Okay.
And I pretty much had all the DCs from 1961 or 2 on down.
Wow.
I had all the first Eclipse and shit like that. But somehow I did manage to miss. I forgot what company did Plasma, but I remember it. But I mean, I had 55,000 books at one time.
Jeez.
It took, when I sold them, it took 3 years and 3 truckloads. I sold Marvel 1 year, then DC the next, and then the Indies the year after that. And then I told myself I wasn't going to get back into it. But I found that quitting drinking, which I did 30 plus years ago, was easy. Quitting comics, not so much.
Especially when there's so many. I'm 37, you're 38. There's so many books out there, like besides back issues. Not only that, there's indies too. You know, so yeah, it's just funny going into. I have a half price books here. I don't know if you have one in Indiana.
Yes, we do. We have a ton of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have all these too, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So you have both. I only have the half price books, so. I go in there, and it's funny, since the MCU started, all the books have gone up in price now. Before, I get is like, hey, this is $1, it's $1. Now they're like, these are worth money now. So they push them from the back of the store to the front of the store now.
I remember going into a half price books about 15, 20 years ago. I bought Marvel premieres, 15, 16, 17s, the early Iron Fist appearances. I bought them for all like 25 cents each. And not happening anymore. Not anymore. So
darn MCU.
Yeah.
I got Transformer books there too. So
I noticed Jay Fairclaw's in the chat, and he just got on me for not acknowledging him. So I just typed in Jay. I was still in your brother's chat.
Okay.
So,
hello
when next time you talk to him, you go, yeah, that guy, you're probably going, who is this asshole? Explain that to him.
And hello to Jay. Yes, and I eventually will get a haircut. It's just one of those things. It's from COVID.
I've been wanting to say something, but I didn't want to be rude.
Well, we're censoring you for a reason. Go ahead.
Oh no! That's it. Just about the haircut.
Oh, okay. Oh.
I've been wanting to mention how long it was getting, but I just didn't want to be rude about it.
When it's long enough to go in a ponytail, that's when I'm gonna get cut. It's getting there.
Okay, gentlemen, I gotta
go
to the bathroom, and I gotta get some water. I'm getting some cotton mouth.
Drew, thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight, and I said it was very nice of you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on. This was a blast. I had a lot of fun, and hopefully I can come back on sometime.
Yeah, I look forward to reading the issue 5 and 6, and I'm gonna start checking out some of the other Merc books too. Now they know that they're actually crossing over, because sometimes a lot of people they'll have not world building. So I love world building. You actually have small companies. It's easier to get the books.
Yeah, exactly.
Versus 250 copies.
Yeah. And
totally.
And if you need if you want to pass along issue 5, like I sent you to Zach, go right ahead. And after he finishes the other ones.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And I went ahead in the chat. I did put a link to the Kickstarter for the Naughty and Nice Vampirella Red Sonja. So anyone in the chat, if that sounds awesome to you, go ahead and check it out. I think it looks like a lot of fun, actually. I'm looking forward to it already.
Good Lord, I just made the connection. Naughty and Nice.
Oh,
Really?
That was years. I mean, for years I used to give my mom crap because she was watching Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and it took her 2/3 of the movie to figure out Gay Perry. Well, apparently it runs in the family.
I was just laughing because Naughty and Nice used to be the porn star that was forever in my neighborhood until it got torn down like 5 years ago.
Well, I wouldn't know from that. I live a clean lifestyle.
I was about to say.
I've seen your room, your bedroom, or your living room. I've seen it. You showed it.
What was the other? I think the other night you were in the auction and you just hear a bam and I'm like, what was that? Oh, it's my box sliding out the
Well,
couch.
there's a short box falling off of another set of boxes onto my laptop. I don't know what that has to do with pornography, but and I said, Drew, we're gonna take this opportunity, just drop off, or you'll never get away.
Yeah, it's a long goodbye.
Thanks for coming on. And if you ever want to come on, just reach out, man. I'm on Facebook. I give you a follow on there. I should have, and reach out to Joe or Eric,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and next week or something. Yeah, we can get all like Aaron, Joe, and I on here. That'd be fun.
Definitely. We'll have a chaos. Let the chaos begin. It's like, all right. Thank you. Take it easy, man.
Have a good night, Drew.
See ya.
Thanks, everyone in chat. Have a good one. Thank you.
All right. And then there was just us.
Yeah, so it's gonna be the two of you because I'm starving.
Yeah.
I was about to say I didn't get a chance to stop in the fridge.
So this is where I gave the little shill speech at the end right here. If you guys want to help out the channel, you can click like and subscribe. Just share us on Twitter, your socials. You can find us on Instagram. Everything is inside the description down below in the video or the live stream right now. Also, leave a comment. Comments help us get shared with the algorithm. All right. Thank you for showing up, dude. Jay, it's great to know that you're alive. I haven't seen you in forever. Marania, thank you for showing up as well. And Ronald, always a pleasure having you on here too. And Rhaegar, how's it going, little Rhaegar? And
you thought you were safe, didn't you, Rhaegar?
And MK, Trusty, and everyone else that showed up, man. Dude, always love seeing you guys here. We'll see ya on Sunday.
Good night, kids.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, old man.
Good night, yep.